I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the hot water wars. A Rinnai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do.
Feel the comforts of home with natural gas. Natural gas tankless water heaters cost almost 3 times less to operate annually than the electric models. Make the switch today.
Rinnai, hot water for all.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 110,000 participants here in Tennessee who take part in high school sports.
Breaker, breaker, good buddy. We've just rolled in from Georgia with a truckload of throw rugs. That was back in my truck driving days, many years ago. Rugs are still rolling in from Georgia every month, featuring Oriental and contemporary area rugs, carpet-style throw rugs, and much more. All rugs are sold at the lowest prices possible. Find your rug at Hammer Stores.
I am a Simplicity dealer. This business is my life, my career. If you need a new mower, I'll help you choose the model that will make your property look its very best, and even let you take a test drive. When it does need service, you can rely on my factory service training and genuine parts. Because I don't just sell products, I build relationships. I am a Simplicity dealer.
S.L. Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Welcome to the 5-Star Preps Friday Night Scoreboard. Glad to be with you tonight. Cox, it's the first time all year you've made it on time. When we actually start the show, I mean,
I was only a minute
did your wife get you ready and get you here on time? That's the deal.
Got my phone charged.
You got your phone charged? No, you don't have your phone charged.
That's a miracle.
That's a miracle. Hey, we're glad we got Coach Jody Wright with us tonight. He's going to be here with us for a little while, and I'm sure we're going to talk some reclassification stuff here in just a minute. But some big ball games in the area tonight. You know, what was this a couple weeks ago you were saying, you know, watch out, Maryville probably go down, man, wherever they're at tonight.
I didn't say they'd lose.
Yeah, you did. You thought they'd lose, and I told you don't count Maryville out. Then Oak Ridge, do we know what the update on Oak Ridge is?
28-21 with 6 minutes to go when I pulled in here.
6 minutes to go. That'd be a big win for Oak Ridge tonight. If they can pull that win off, it looks like Anderson County rolled. I don't know what the final was.
Was there somebody that picked, what was it, East Hamilton? Is that who they played tonight?
Yeah.
Somebody picked them to win the region?
I did.
Down in Chattanooga?
Somebody picked them in Chattanooga?
Yeah, I think a sports reporter, right, picked East Hamilton to win the region this year.
Well, I can tell you
I'd heard that.
They didn't look very good tonight from what little bit I watched them on Channel 95 tonight. Just a little bit I watched.
I don't have Channel 95, but I got Twitter, and it looked bad.
Yes, it did. And, man, you know, West would have been better off if they stayed home. Well, they were at home tonight, but they'd have been better off if they'd not come to the game tonight and not scheduled that COVID makeup every game to put Catholic on, because Catholics went over there and whooped them tonight.
Do you know how many people West had out tonight?
I'd heard anywhere between 5 and 10, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'd heard early in the day that around eight people, 5 on the O-line.
Well, let me ask you something, Coach. Why would you play if you had that? Why not just cancel yourself? Could that put them in jeopardy maybe next week? Do you not err on the side of caution just a little bit, maybe?
Yeah,
I know you want to play the ball game.
Yeah,
I
and
understand
I
that.
think West, their stance when I talked to their head coach Monday and told him we weren't going to be able to play was they wanted to get a game because they were off last week. They didn't want to have 2 weeks off, which I get that. But here's the thing that you get into with the COVID. You've got your positives that are on the sideline. You got your contact tracings that are on the sideline. So now with football, unlike any other sport, you get into a safety issue. I've got kids playing out there that are maybe freshmen and sophomore that are really good in a JV game, and now they're playing against grown men. So you do open the door of sometimes just safety being an issue. I've got a quarterback in there, and I've got my whole offensive line is out. I wouldn't want my son back there taking snaps with a bunch of freshmen, sophomore at guard and tackle.
No, I wouldn't either. So, is there a did TSSAA put a limit on having to have a certain amount of players, or they just?
That's all college.
That's just all college. Not TSSAA didn't even venture into that part of it. So I don't know. I guess if you hadn't been COVID stricken this year, where you've either had kids out or had to cancel a game, you could say you're living right or something. But I think just about everybody in our viewing area has been affected by either COVID one way or the other, whether it's somebody they're playing or themselves. So, I mean,
I was actually looking at that tonight, and I think the only school in our area that's not been affected by a game is Anderson County.
Yeah, you might be right.
I was actually looking at that earlier, and I think Anderson County is the only one in our viewing area that has not canceled a game, and I wasn't sure on Oak Ridge. I couldn't remember Oak Ridge.
Well, they have now because they got canceled next week.
So it'll be next week.
So they're next week. That'll be their COVID with Fulton next week. That won't happen. So
it's all a big game of Jenga. I mean, you pull something out and just hope that the whole thing doesn't tumble down.
Now, I think this is a football show, but I want to ask this question. When we've talked about this, I don't know if we've really talked on camera about it, but we've talked off camera about it. How's this going to work in basketball, you think? I mean, we're going to be indoors. It's going to be warm in the gym.
I think you'll see it very similar, David. I think you'll see reduced crowds. I think that every district will probably get together with their schools and say, just like we have in football. I mean, in football, I knew I could sell 1,233 tickets. That's what Knox County told me. That was a little less than, that was probably about closer to a fourth of my seating capacity at my stadium. But I could sell 1,233 tickets, nothing more. I think we'll see that a lot in basketball. The thing that basketball has, the advantage other than football, if you lose a football game, this isn't the NFL, we can bump it to Monday Night Football or whatever, it's hard. Basketball, we've dealt with this for a while because of snow, bad weather, flu, but they did send guidelines out today to the schools as far as how to handle those COVID games. They're the same as football. If I schedule you and I'm telling you I can't play, you get a COVID win, I don't get a loss. But if we can reschedule the game, then the score, the standings count. So I think you'll see a lot of, again, you're indoors and it's flu season. I think you'll see, I think for somebody to get through this season and their schedule not, be jumbled up is going to be a miracle.
Should the season have been reduced just to district games or whatever? I mean, I guess it's district basketball. Should it have been reduced down to just
region games?
Should you have cut the season? Could you have just played? Should you just played the people in your district and not had? How many games you got scheduled now?
So if you'd have
you're allowed to play 31 in high school, right?
No, you're allowed to play 24 regular season games.
24 regular season games.
So if you'd have done your district game, here's the rub in that. Okay, so I got a 5-team district. I would have 8 games. Oak Ridge has got a 9-team district. They'd have 18 games. What's equitable? So that's why you couldn't do that.
That's why you couldn't do it. A lot of people's asked that question if they would cut it, and then
well, you could do it, just would not be real fair.
Yeah, you could do it.
To the teams that have small districts.
You'd have teams with small districts that just would, and two, you would lose out on a lot of really good rivalries. I mean, just again, for instance, a Fulton Oak Ridge. You know, historically, the last 5 years, that might have been one of the biggest. I'd say if you looked at games, non-district games, attendance-wise, I dare say anything's been more attended than a Fulton Oak Ridge game at Fulton and at Oak Ridge. You would lose a lot of really good games like that. I think everybody's just we're going to try to make it work. It's going to be unusual. It's going to be difficult. But you know, it's the world we're living in right now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to get any better anytime soon. But
the biggest thing you look forward to with football is making sure no Knox County school goes red in 2 weeks.
That's a key thing, and Jonathan and I talked about this. So, you know, in Knox County, we have a policy that if the district has a policy that if the district goes red, meaning everybody's virtual due to the numbers being red, students that have it, staff out, custodial staff out, cafeteria staff out, all the moving pieces, that there are no athletics. But they also have a policy that if your school goes red, like Halls did earlier, Halls went red, which means they went all virtual, which means they were shut down athletics for 2 weeks. So can you imagine that if you do
what I started to say,
in the playoffs?
In football, you're just going to lose 2 games, but in basketball, you can lose 4 or possibly more.
You could lose more, but
you can lose more depending on what you're playing during that week.
But if that happens in November, you're losing a playoff game. Can you imagine?
What happens right now in football when the first round of the football playoffs come along if a team's unable to play with COVID? Is that just like we are right now?
Brackets
move.
Just that's a bye and they move on.
Man, what a way to what would you do?
That's what we were saying.
You'd be undefeated and have a COVID game. I think that puts coaches in a bad position.
I mean, West could go.
I think it puts them in a bad position to try to hide it and go ahead and play.
Oh, I mean,
that's just me.
I talked to a coach from Middle Tennessee today. We were talking about the Clinic Bowl, and I said, "What? You know, it's not unrealistic that we could get to the Clinic Bowl in December and have a game decided not played because of COVID."
If a Knox County school goes, if West went red this coming week and shut down for 2 weeks, West would be eliminated for the playoffs week 1.
Correct. Number one team in the state.
I just think it puts a lot of pressure on the coach to do something maybe that's not right.
Well, the coach at that time, coach wouldn't have a decision.
He wouldn't have a decision there. Let's take maybe you're in a school system that doesn't have the same thing that Knox County's got. You might be doing this on an honor system or something. I don't know.
It's going to be. It's really, really hard and tough, and that's, you know, again, I think that's going to put some school leaders in a little bit of a pickle as far as, you know, how they're doing that, and so that's the as we get now into the season of, you know, big boy football, which is the playoffs. You know, it's not a big deal when you lose a regular season. It is a big deal when you lose a regular season game. It's going to be huge, and it will happen. You mark it down, it will happen. There will be teams that will lose playoff games simply because they can't play.
Wow. Something to really think about. You know, and every Friday night I've sat here waiting on Cox to get here, so I always give a speech every Friday night about fans wearing, you know, face coverings and trying to social distance and doing the best you can. And I've been asked, why do you do that every Friday night? Well, because I want to come and talk about high school football every Friday night. Why it's going on. I don't want it to get canceled somewhere and get wiped out. So it's going to be hard to social distance in the gym. That's all I got to say. You won't get, what's Fulton seat?
We seat 1,600, so, I mean, if maybe they'll let us have 550 in, I guess.
Did you see the crowd for the state volleyball tournament?
I saw the crowd. I saw somewhere they said that the gym held about 1,600, and they allowed, I think, 520 in.
But now once they get in there, you can't really do anything to make them social distance, right? If students want to go stand together, they can go stand together.
You know, those are all recommendations from TSBA. There's no way that you can get into, you know, I sell you a ticket to get in a ball game. I can take your temperature, and I can not allow you to come in unless you have a mask. Now, once you come in there, it becomes really hard to manage that.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
I mean, you can't hire enough security guards. And then, too, do you, where do you draw the line of a lady that can't wear a mask because she's got COPD?
How are you going to monitor
How are you going to monitor that? So it becomes really, as Jonathan said, you have expectations, you have recommendations, but now those aren't, we've seen it in high school sports so far, those aren't steadfast.
I will say this much. From what I've seen on some games on TV, it looks like a lot of people are wearing masks and they're trying to do the right thing. I have seen some student sections that didn't have very many on, but, I guess it is what it is. But,
Got an Oak Ridge update, anybody? Oak Ridge wins 28-21.
Wow.
Oak Ridge wins 28-21.
Huge win for
28 what? 27? 28-27? Wow.
So missed extra point.
Hey, we got a phone call holding. Well, we don't have
any hookup
we don't
up
have
here.
a hookup up here. Hook us up. If you can get us plugged in somewhere, we'll get them. I thought I heard the phone ring.
I thought I heard it ring too, but I didn't see it.
Hey, did you? That's another game. Keystone beat Pigeon Forge tonight.
7-6.
Everybody had Pigeon Forge picked to win that game.
Not Panky.
Yeah, they're blinking. There, we got 2 on there. Thanks, appreciate it. But Oak Ridge, that's puts Oak Ridge number 2 seed.
2 seed.
Playing a home game.
Playing one or 2 games at home, possibly
2.
2,
possibly 3.
2, possibly 3, depending on who
who wins that Powell West game.
Let's get this call here. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. Hello. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah. Hey, hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Hey, don't listen to your TV. Just listen on your phone so you can hear me. Go ahead.
I hear you. Hey, when Anderson County meets Elizabeth in the playoffs, who do you think will win?
When Anderson County meets Elizabethton in the playoffs, who do I think will win?
Greenville first.
Hey, I think you got to beat Greenville first to get to Elizabethton. So,
okay.
Thanks,
guys.
I don't really know what that had anything to do with it, but so what? Go ahead, caller. You on the air?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Not a lot. What's going on?
Hey, Queener, I'm with you, buddy. I'm gonna use Cofield as an example, but undefeated going into the playoffs, there's no way in the world I'd hand COVID to nobody right now. There's no way. I'm just like you. I play in the football game.
It's just common sense, I think. I mean, it's going to put some coaches in some bad spots.
If you're a kid, you wouldn't even go get tested.
If you're a kid, you wouldn't.
If I was sick, I wouldn't even tell anybody.
Tested. I mean, you hear about
That's
this.
exactly right.
Yeah, you don't do it. I'm sitting beside 2 coaches.
If I hear a kid say I don't feel good, I'm gonna say you need to stay home for a couple days. Don't you dare go to the doctor.
I mean, you're probably right.
But hey, I'm telling you, I found out though. I thought I was watching the game. I'm still here. I'm just got in the car. But with 2 minutes left, when he accidentally kicked that onside kick, it was an accident. I thought, man, Coach Henry's got a set on him, buddy. And then I found out it was an accident, and Lord of mercy, they was having a fit over there.
Accidentally? How do you accidentally do it?
Accidentally kicked
He missed the football.
Oh, he missed the football.
He whiffed on it. He barely got the football.
Yeah.
If that Oliver Springs kid had to come up and touched it, there's no way it went 10 yards.
So hold on, it goes 14-7, and he whiffs the football.
He whiffs the football.
Whiffed it.
Whiffed it.
But now, hey, I'm not putting no kid on the spot. I've been got on to and told I was kid bashing on here, and I don't do that. But he missed that football.
Jonathan,
well, it happens.
Did we see that Fulton Alcoa about 12 years ago?
Yeah.
Guy shanked one and hit
He get back to saddle, man.
Exactly right. It changed the game.
Yeah.
But hey, these are 2 very evenly matched teams. It would not surprise me at all if they played again in the 3rd round.
Yeah, Oliver Springs, they started out a little rough this year, but
Is this the
it's a
guy?
good football team.
Is this the guy that wears Coalfield sweatshirt and Oliver Springs t-shirt?
Yeah, this is him, and wears a Florida hat. He's really confused.
Hey, I lived in Oliver Springs. I had to cheer for him. I didn't want my windows beat out of my house.
Yeah, you're right. You lived really close too.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
You can throw a
I
rock
had
and
to
hit
cheer
the
for 'em.
school. Yeah, you did. You didn't have no choice.
but now I'm back in Cofield, so I'm cheering for Cofield, my alma mater.
All right, keep cheering, man.
Hey, when you get married, you go where your wife tells you to go.
I understand, man. I understand.
Hey, guys, y'all have a great night. I appreciate y'all.
All right, see you. All right.
See you. Bye.
You know, Coach Wright brought up a good point. You might have been there. What, Fulton and Alcoa 2006
maybe.
Dennis Freeney kicks the ball and sort of hits the middle of the ball, shanks it into the back of an Alcoa guy, and then recovers it. Fulton goes on to score and takes the lead.
Yeah.
And ends up winning the game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a crazy, crazy game.
So, big win tonight for Oak Ridge. You know, last night, did you watch any of last night's game? Central and...
I don't watch Thursday Night Football.
You don't watch Thursday Night Football?
I don't get the channel.
Big win for Science Hill over Dobbins Bennett.
Ooh. That takes
31-21.
That takes the mustard off of the Thursday night game this week because they stand undefeated. They thought everybody was saying undefeated DB going against Alcoa Thursday night. So that takes a little mustard off that game.
I think I told you about 6 weeks ago, DB might not score against Alcoa. I'll still take that.
You'll still take that?
I still don't think DB will score against Alcoa.
You'll still take that, hey? Well, anyway, last night's game, Central and South Door, was a really good football game. It really was. It was a good football game. You didn't have too much of a choice.
A lot of turnovers.
South Dole left it laying early in the game. That Central converted for a score. I think there was a interception or two.
Central looked pretty. I thought Central looked pretty good last night. I thought they looked better than they have other times that I've watched them play.
They really they owned the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
Yes.
I thought that's where they dominated the football game.
Yeah, they did.
Did the Kingston Pigeon Forge score surprise you?
Well, everybody said Pigeon Forge was going to win that game. I didn't see that.
Was that at Pigeon Forge?
I believe it was. But isn't Pigeon Forge in a rebuild?
Pigeon Forge had a good season.
They have.
Pigeon Forge had a real good season.
They have.
They lost a close one in GP. They beat Austin East pretty handily, which is a pretty common theme this year. But no, they've been a lot better than they were expected to be this year.
Elizabethton wins pretty big tonight. I don't, that caller called early and wanted to know about Anderson County beating Elizabethton. I believe, like you said, they got to get by Greenville first to even think about Elizabethton. And where would that game be? Would it be at Elizabethton or Anderson County? Or
Anderson County.
It would be at Anderson County?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anderson County's home all the way, right? Until
as the number, well, yes, and I don't know. I'd have to look at the bracket on the semifinals, but
every other year.
Let's get a call here right quick.
They would be through the
quick caller,
first
you're on
three
the air.
rounds.
Phew, what a game that was. That was a crazy ending.
Tell us what happened.
So, near the middle of the third quarter, we picked six their quarterback, who, by the way, threw 3 interceptions the entire game. And it was 28-7 near the end of the third. They come back and score next possession. Powell does. And then going in the fourth quarter, now it's 14-28. We couldn't drive the whole fourth quarter, and they just kept driving and driving. One drive, they just ran the ball the entire time, didn't throw it once. Our defense was exhausted from that pick six, and they just ran the ball in our throats, and they scored 21-28. We get the ball back. We couldn't drive the ball again. They did a good job defending Kendall Jackson. We punt it. They score. And here's the interesting part. They score, then we go encroachment. So it's a penalty, like at the goal line. So they decide to go for 2. Coach Gaddis calls a timeout to talk about it. And next play, they get called for false start. So they drive it back, and now they bring back out the field goal unit.
Oh, gosh.
Then he missed it. Then
so Wildcats win 28-27 on a missed extra point.
Yes, missed extra point.
Hey, caller, I was getting some text messages on the way to the show tonight. Did Oak Ridge go away from the run in the third quarter?
Not
Were
really.
you there?
I mean, not really. There was a couple times that were head scratchers where they threw the ball to stop the clock. So I mean, it wasn't like mind blowing. But no, they were running the ball. Powell did a good job defending Jackson, and they had to switch it up. So.
Did you go to game tonight?
Yeah. I would like to think so. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think you probably did.
You never know.
You
might have been Auburn Springs.
So you might have went to Auburn Springs tonight. As far as we know. But
I'll tell you who had another good game for Oak Ridge.
Tell us.
Kind of the unsung hero was Brandon Hayward, the future basketball stud. He's kind of taken a similar path to T. Higgins. Starting freshman on the varsity, he's making a lot of plays, defense and offense, and he will be playing basketball this year. So, just the unsung hero for this game. He made a lot of good catches for us and played great defense.
He has had a good football year. I'll say it. He does. He looks like a really impressive athlete as a freshman. I will give you that.
Some argue he's better at basketball. Some say football. I guess we'll find out this year in basketball.
Yep.
The good news is Oak Ridge don't have to travel for a first-round playoff game.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm really happy about that.
Even though you wouldn't be there either way.
Yeah, I was about to say, you read my mind. I don't even have to be there. Yeah, thank you. Well, yeah, crazy ending.
Well, we appreciate the updates.
Through the end.
All right,
say
man.
what?
I said we appreciate the update. Thank you.
Hey, Queener, can you say roll Wildcats roll for us? They want to hear it for them.
Who wants to hear it?
The fans. Say roll Wildcats roll.
I'll just say go Coach Gaddis. Roll Wildcats roll. That's right. There you go.
That's right, baby. That's
right. See, man. Golly. Going crazy. Go ahead, caller. You're on there.
How y'all doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
Hey, let me ask you a question. South Pittsburgh. What classification school is that?
South Pitt's 1A? Or are they 2A? They're 1, ain't they? I think they're 1.
Aren't they 1?
I think they're 1A.
I think South Pitt and Megs are.
I think they're 1. Go ahead. That's what we think. 1.
They beat somebody last week 67-0.
Oh, South Pitt's tough.
South Pitt and Megs. Isn't that who played each other a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Megs won at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Megs undefeated.
So Megs is 2 and South Pitt's 1.
South Pitt is tough to beat. It's always a tough football game. I've watched them at Coalfield a couple times in the playoffs. So
who will they be playing in the playoffs?
To be honest, I have no idea. I've not seen any scenarios, and I don't know yet. So you'll know a little bit more after tonight, probably, about what some possible games will be. So we'll wait till Jesse Smithey calls us here sometime, and maybe he can give us just listen. He'll give us some rundowns. Probably he probably can tell us who's where, and who's what. Because things got a little bit clearer tonight with some people that won and some people that lost. So it's
Campbell County 34, Clinton 33.
Yeah.
Wow. Clinton almost pulled it off tonight, caller.
Is Clinton going to win a game this year?
Well, I don't know, but they played a whole lot better tonight, and they have. They just got beat by 1 instead of 4.
They scored 33 points.
Scored 33 points.
They've not scored 33 points the whole year.
No, probably not. I understand they might have got rid of their offensive coordinator and somebody else took over.
Seriously?
Who is their offensive coordinator?
Freshman quarterback's going to be a player.
He's going to be a player.
He's good.
I don't have any idea who the offensive coordinator was. I just heard that the head coach took the play calling over from the guy.
So they got to go to Carnes next week, don't they?
Do what?
They got to go to Carnes next week, don't they?
Yeah, they got to go to Carnes next week.
Never line up here.
Facing another good team. He's got another good running back. That's what tonight was in Campbell County. One kid, he had a career night tonight, I think. He ran the ball good.
That kid's good, too.
He is good. What is Allen, isn't his name?
Yep.
C.J. Allen.
C.J. Allen. He's a good football player. I don't know if Clinton's going to win a game or not, but they are making improvements. That's the biggest thing right now. We'll just rock on.
That's the main thing right
That's
there.
the main thing. You're exactly right.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right, see you, man. Quick caller, you on the air.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing great.
Hey, let me add a couple little things to that guy's good recap about the Oak Ridge Clinton game. I mean, excuse me, guys.
Oak Ridge Powell?
Oak Ridge Powell game.
Go ahead, add it.
When Powell scored with about 3-something left, cut it 28-21, they kicked off and Oak Ridge returned the kick to their 19-yard line. so it looked like Oak Ridge had dodged the bullet, ran 3 plays, hadn't gained a yard, and missed the field goal.
Oh.
So Powell takes over at the 19 or 20, whatever it was, with a minute and something left to go, drives straight down, scores to cut it to 1, sends out their kicking team, and here's where the old school coaches all have a heart attack. Made the extra point when Oak Ridge was offside. Decided to take the point off the board and take the half distance to the goal.
No way.
And then jumped offside. Then went in motion and then missed the extra point.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's a good one for the old timers to argue about. Hey, Jody, you're in there with a rough crew.
Buddy, church work.
But you don't worry about it. If you can handle them littles and them hillises, you ain't got no problem.
Absolutely, all day.
Thank you, guys.
All right, see you, bud.
Boy,
wow,
don't you know
called out coaching yourself?
Hey, how many you think those all those coaches in the stands are questioning that right there? Wow.
So he took the game time point off the board to go for 2. And then sends the field goal unit back out there.
Wow. That's out coaching yourself right there. That's just do it being. That's a bad coach.
And you have to have all the momentum. I mean, you come back from.
Quick caller, you on the air.
Hello.
Go ahead. You're on the air. Hey, listen. Go ahead.
Rockwood didn't play tonight, but they play next week against Cumberland Gap.
Okay.
If they win, will they be in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think Rockwood's in the playoffs.
They're already in the playoffs.
They're already in the playoffs.
Be about second place.
Be about what? 6? No. They got to come to the top 4. So.
I think he said second place.
Did you say second place or 6th? I thought you said 6th. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they might be second. I don't really know where they're at. I just know they're in the playoffs. That's about all I know.
Yeah, well, we'll be in the paper probably.
It should be.
Anyway, they didn't play tonight, but they play next week.
All right, then. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Take a break.
Rockwood fan wanted to make sure we knew they didn't play tonight. All right, let's jump out and take our first break. We'll be right back just in a couple minutes.
$1952. That's the year Hammers opened the first store in East Tennessee. Now there are 5 stores, and there's always something new. Like in Hammers' popular ladies' boutique department, you'll find the lowest price possible on new arrivals every week. Find similar deals in the men's department and the expanded rug department. Plus, special purchases always offer surprise savings. You never know what you'll find next at Hammers.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We built our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the hot water wars. A Rinnai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do.
Feel the comforts of home with natural gas. Natural gas tankless water heaters cost almost 3 times less to operate annually than the electric models. Make the switch today.
Rinnai, hot water for all.
Make this spring all about enjoying the experience. When you ride on your new Ferris commercial mower featuring patented suspension technology, you'll have more than freshly manicured grass. You'll experience productivity and comfort like never before. And because you won't be slowing down for those rough spots, you'll mow more lawn in less time. Ferris, experience suspension.
Your local Ferris dealer is S.L. Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood. Call 865-354-0600.
back to the five-star Prep Friday Night Scoreboard. Busy night tonight. Week 10 is in the books. Cox, you was talking about COVID games, which West had a COVID game tonight because they were supposed to play football, but they went ahead and played Catholic. I'm sure they're regretting that right now, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe they got some kids.
Is that their senior night tonight, maybe?
Maybe that's.
We think they did it early in the season.
I bet they probably, like most schools, did that early
in the year, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's any more COVID games tonight or not. Other than that, with the Fulton situation, might be the only one.
Oneida didn't play tonight.
Oneida didn't play tonight.
Loudon didn't play tonight.
Oneida's off for the next 2 weeks.
Loudon's off for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so there's 3 schools.
Oakdale, Harriman.
Oakdale, Harriman. Yes, that was one tonight. Harriman's through for the year.
Walker Valley, Loudon. So that was Loudon's done for the next 2 weeks too. They were undefeated, weren't they?
Yep,
they were.
Yep.
And then they'll go play a couple playoff games to get Alcoa.
Yeah. And well, you know, we've talked about them all year long. Me and Cox have just, you know, they got to get through Alcoa. I mean, they have a great regular season. Then in the playoffs, it's a couple and done. And it's the same way up at AC. They got to get through Greenville and Elizabeth, and then they know what's in front of them up there. We don't have to tell them. They know. So I'm sure they're trying to win those games, but you got to win them to go on.
There's nothing more. We played Loudon. What was it, Jonathan, in 2011? And Loudon was, and I think it's the semifinals, and Loudon was 14-0, and we were 14-0, and it
place was packed.
And it was packed, and it was 60-0 at the half, and it was just, you know.
I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that. Yep. That's what I'm saying. You have a great regular season, then you get in the playoffs, and you know it becomes it's a little bit different. You can't afford to have a flat night or a down night. No. You can't afford to have because as you advance rounds in the playoffs, teams get a whole lot better.
Yeah. That guy's done a good job. Jeff Herring's done a nice job at Loudon.
He has done a good. Last 2 years has been he's won a bunch of ball games.
Went back down there and turned it back around.
Yeah, you know, left and went to West and just wasn't a real good fit, and went back to Loudon and got them. And Loudon had fell off the map too while he was gone, and he got them turned around pretty quick. He's done a good job.
Well, he's doing some hard work down there, and it's paying off. You can tell.
Hey, for the caller that called in, Powell did not take points off the board. That was a pre-snap foul, so Powell did not decline the penalty and take points off the board. They had to accept the penalty, and that's how that worked out.
You know, and you guys can agree with me if you want to disagree. The one that really don't matter. In high school, I don't know that I take that penalty if I don't have to half the distance to the goal. I don't believe I take that penalty because you're talking high school kids are already erratic enough kicking the ball. I leave things the same for them. I just don't. Even if I was just going to kick it, I wouldn't do that. I just leave it the same. I think you mess.
It certainly brings in some. If nothing happens, you're kicking no question.
Right.
Or most people do. You know, Buck Copeland won a couple of state championships, never kicked it at all. But still, most people would kick it. But now when you get that penalty, it brings in, what do we do? You know, we're on the yard and a half. Do we go for the win? So the penalty itself brings in some coaching decisions that probably aren't in play.
I guess I don't mind the riverboat gambler, but man, I probably play if not being there. If we just listen to the callers tonight. In the fourth quarter, Oak Ridge apparently didn't do too much of anything.
Go to overtime.
Sounds to me like advantage, Powell Panthers.
Yeah.
Just me.
Well, I mean,
not hating on Oak Ridge tonight or nothing. Just me sounds like Powell. Because their own callers have told us that. Yeah. That Oak Ridge didn't do too much in the fourth quarter as far as offensive. Remember, in fact, the last caller said that. Return it to the 19-yard line and
didn't get a yard.
Plays and didn't get a yard to kick a field goal and miss it. That's unusual, too, for Oak Ridge on special teams. That's usually something that they're really good at is the special team thing. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, guys, I apologize to you. I was listening to Dave Clary, and the funny thing about it was the original kick, he called it bad, and then he apologized and said he was so sorry that it was good. And then he talked about the penalty. So then that's what got me all. I was just going by what I heard, guys.
We just going along with you.
Oh, you're good.
You're good.
Hey, thank you.
All right, see you. Don't need to apologize. This is, it's part of it. So, and all these fair weather fans. You ain't heard from them all season long. They start calling, texting, you know, what about Oak Ridge? Where's these people been all year long? I mean, you know,
they didn't call us after that DB game.
Me and you had this conversation. You laughed at me a couple of weeks ago. I was talking about Mike Farley and his wife Sandra. Okay,
oh God,
it's a split family if you've ever seen one. You got a guy that's a Clinton grad, but now he's up Anderson County rooting for Anderson County because his daughter's cheerleader. All right, his wife loves Oak Ridge. Her son goes to Oak Ridge, plays basketball at Oak Ridge, but now she's been up Anderson County, and she's got AC painted on her face sometimes. So they're confused. That's all I got to say about it. I'll leave it at that.
So some houses are divided and some are confused.
They're divided and confused. So, hey, Jody, we just did some reclassifications. And I know it's always a hot topic every year. We could spend the next 3 years talking about it, and I wouldn't understand it no more than I do right now. But how tough a decision? I mean, how do they just tell me this? How they break down the numbers? How they decide here's what single A is going to be, and here's what double A is going to be, and 3A and 4A, 5A, 6A?
Well, first of all, in my opinion, classification is the hardest thing that we do as the Board of Control. I think it's probably the most scrutinized thing. It's the most time-consuming thing we do. There's just so much. There's so many variables that you have to look at. There's so many sports because now you've got a football classification, you got a basketball, baseball, softball classification, you got volleyball, you got track and field, you got golf and tennis. So you got so many classifications. And so there's just a volume of material that you do. And everybody, so the common misconception is that there's a number, that the classification is set on a number. So the process is schools turn in their enrollment to the State Department of Education.
Correct.
That's for funding. The TSBA pulls that number from the State Department of Education. So those are the enrollment numbers. Once they have received all those enrollment numbers, then the board votes, and we voted in August. We set the classification numbers as far as we're going to do 6 for football. The biggest probably thing that got the most conversation was basketball. 4 classes in basketball. So we set those classifications.
Basketball, baseball, softball.
Yes. So for instance, let's use basketball, baseball, and softball. Let's say there's 400 schools. This is for easy math right here. So we got 4 classifications. So single A, so schools 0, you count up enrollment-wise 0 to 100. That's single A. 101 to 200, that's 2A. 201 to 300, that's 3A. 301 to 400, that's 4A. So the number always, there is no set number as far as, well, the enrollment, everything below this number. The number is set by the school that's at whatever, for instance, whatever the 100th school is. If the enrollment is 378, then that's a cutoff. So 0 to 378, that's single A. And then you go from the next school, and it may be 379, and that really happens, that there's one student difference between classifications. But then you go to the next school, and you go up for the next 100, and if that's 721, then that's your cutoff number. So really, it's not numbers as much as it is whatever the schools. And so I think in basketball, maybe I read somewhere where it was like 83 schools in a class, and so you just start at the bottom, count up 83. That's class A. So it is it's time consuming, and here's the thing I've learned about classification. There's going to be these schools over here that think, man, you did a really good job. This is really, really good. And then there's going to be these schools over here that are thinking, these are a bunch of morons. They're absolutely stupid. This is crazy. This is, so it's all about your perspective.
You even got schools that think that inside sports.
Oh, yeah. I mean
look at Clinton High School.
I mean, there's Clinton High School who is 5A by 11 students.
Yep.
But basketball, baseball, softball, they drop down to 3A.
3A.
So those coaches are probably
Chris Lockard has to be happy.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And but you know, the football, and so I had people ask me the other day, how can schools that separate by 11 students, how are they not in the same classification? There's going to be schools that are separated by less than 5 students that are in different classifications, and that's just the way that they do it. It's based on how many schools are in that class and how many classes. So in football, you take however many schools you got, you divide by 6. With basketball, baseball, and softball, you take however many basketball, baseball playing schools you have, you divide by 4. So that's
where it comes out. Was there any talk this year going from 6 to 5? I know had been a lot of talk about it.
Yeah, not much. I think, and two, this year, normally a classification cycle is a 4-year cycle. This year it's a 2-year cycle. And there was a couple reasons for that. Number one, because how easy is it going to be to get enrollment numbers with nobody's enrollment numbers are truly accurate, because you've got students that are homeschooling right now due to all this thing that would come back. So they're probably close, but they're maybe not 100% accurate. So classification is just for a 2-year cycle, but there wasn't a whole lot of talk. I'll be honest with you, I've never been a fan of 6 classes. I think it's too many for a school, for a state our size. I think we've got regions that go from Knoxville to Johnson City. It's too far. And anytime you add classes, you add travel. And so, but it really, there was not going to be a whole lot of discussion for any of that movement. So now maybe in 2 years, we'll see. But there was literally no discussion really. I don't think there was a whole lot of support for going to 5.
It seemed watered down for the last couple of years because of that.
Yeah.
The only good thing about the numbers being turned in, people they can't really cheat anymore per se, because you got to turn in those numbers for your BEP money. You're not going to get
state funding.
You're not going to short yourself on state funding just to get down a classification or up a classification in football. You're not going to do that. So that's not happening.
I'm sure.
Was that not the case back 20 years ago?
I think some schools probably did fudge on it a little bit.
I don't know. I wasn't on the board 20 years ago. I
know what I'm saying is it's not always been BEP
No, it's
money.
not always been. The state's not always took it from BEP money. They took it from someplace else.
I think the TLSAA, I don't know how long they have gotten the enrollment numbers from the state. I don't know if they allowed schools to turn those in. I've been on the board for, I guess, I don't know, 10, 12 years, something like that right there. Since I've been on the board, they've always gotten numbers from the State Department of Education. Yeah. Now, is there ways that school systems can get creative with their numbers? Well, sure. They can. If I've got an alternative school in my district, and I can shift some. I'm a one school district, but I've got an alternative school that is registered, that has its own number, is registered with the State Department of Education. Now, could I have some students over there in that alternative school that aren't on my books? We're still, as a county, because you receive your funding not per school, per county.
Per county, yeah.
So,
wow.
Could that happen? Yeah. Does it happen? Maybe. I don't know, but I'm not naive enough to think it probably hadn't been thought of.
I'm sure somebody's thought of it and probably done it. Quick caller, you on the air?
Hey, Queener, how are you?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
I know I hadn't called in all year.
Yeah, where you been?
In bed.
In bed? Okay. All right, I guess.
No, first of all, I want to say the Bobcats did good tonight. I have to say it. Can't help it. I'm an OS Cat fan. You know that.
Oh, I know that. Did you go to game?
No, we watched it on TV. We don't go to many high school games because of the little one. We're still a little scared.
I understand.
And second of all, I want to give a shout out to the OSMS Bobcats. Undefeated year. They're going to Campbell County next Saturday to play in the championship against Rockwood.
Well, congratulations
to Campbell County?
Going to Campbell County.
They're going to Campbell County to play Rockwood.
All right.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's what I thought.
It's a long way.
And,
that's where it's played at.
Yeah. And one thing I want to ask Queener, and I know Junior's watching.
Yeah.
What happened to your Vols last weekend?
They got beat. They got beat.
You sort of wanted to pick that upset.
I did want to pick that upset last week, but I didn't. But they got beat, just like they're probably going to get beat tomorrow. Bad.
Probably.
My house was divided. You know that. I'm from Kentucky.
I understand. What's JR doing?
Taking it easy.
Good deal. Take care of him. He deserves it.
Well, you know he's retired now. He's done.
I heard that the other day. Yeah, I heard that. Congratulations to him. Ain't nothing like it.
And he's been doing a lot of fishing so far.
That's good. Tell him keep fishing then.
And watching football. But we're going to have a little one playing next year, hopefully.
All right, then. Well, keep us up on him, man.
I will do it. And Mr. Jordan told me to say hi to him, too.
Okay. All right. Thanks for calling. See you. Bye. All right, guys. What do you think? Any big upsets tonight, Cox? Powell, Oak Ridge? You thought Powell was going to win.
I picked Powell.
Yeah. Who'd I pick?
You picked Oak Ridge.
That's exactly right, Coach Gaddis. Hall of Fame,
yeah.
Coach Gaddis. Just get that right.
Absolutely. Wonder if he'll call us tonight.
I don't know.
He wasn't showing his hand last week. He'll show his hand this coming week. It's bye.
He didn't have a lot to say last week, did he?
That's right. He cut me short, didn't he?
Yeah, he didn't have a lot to say. Let's see who else we got. Quick caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Quater.
Yeah.
What y'all was talking about just a minute ago with the students and the count.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, Oneida would not take roll until the vocational kids left so they could stay in single-A football.
Okay. I believe
there's ways around it.
Yeah, I believe you. I believe you. I'm with you.
So I'm just saying, there's ways around that, and you can also play up if you want to, I think. Don't you have the opportunity to, like if you're a 3A school and you're just whooping the dog out of everybody, you can play up to 4A if you choose to, right?
They'll have right now schools have been notified and they have a week to decide if they want to play up in classification. So at the end of that week, probably first week in November, sometime in there, the state, once schools have declared, I'm going to play up, so caller is correct, you can play up, right now, Fulton, Gibbs, Carter are all playing 5A. We were 4A. Matter of fact, Memphis East in basketball, they were 1A school playing 3A basketball. So you can move up as many classes as you want.
Alcoa does it, right?
Not yet.
Alcoa don't play in football.
When did they take the private schools out of the regular football? Like it used to be every year, Franklin Road Academy and Battleground Academy and all them guys was dominating. And then they put all them in their own deal. Is Catholic a public school?
No, Catholic is a private school. And I want to say it was probably about 10 years ago they made the Legislative Council passed a rule that said if you give tuition, you're in Division II. So it's really wasn't a public-private as much as it said if you give tuition, then you are in there. And now there's pretty much all schools now. If you offer any type of financial aid, you are in the Division II, and Catholic is a Division II school. So that's been that way probably for 10 years or so.
Yeah, Catholic played on the private
probably
side
15
for a little
years.
while. So.
Catholic played the public side.
One more question.
Yeah.
I've heard, and I can't swear this to be true, but there's a possibility that there's possibly 3 kids at William Blount that are going to transfer to Greenback and be able to play immediately in the playoffs. That's crap.
I couldn't tell you. I've not heard that.
But if they do transfer, they're immediately eligible, right?
No, not necessarily.
No. Well, number one, they have to meet the transfer guidelines, which means they would have to move. So they would
put their house up for sale and go get an apartment. That's what everybody else does.
They would have to move from that zone into that. But now, is Greenback going to even be in the playoffs? They haven't won a game, have they?
I'm not sure they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they got a win tonight, or got a win from Peterman, so I think they're in the playoffs.
Oakdale's not beating them.
Excuse me?
Oakdale's not beating them.
Well, I guess my question right there would be, I could be eligible, but how could you, if you're transferring in there in first week of the playoffs, how would you learn what's going on? How would you learn schemes? How would you? I mean, again, I may be a good football player, but it'd be just pretty much
a late transfer.
Go out and play.
You're taking some kid's spot. It's been there all year.
Listen, we've not heard that, and I'm sure. I mean, we would hear it if it was going on, because when the other transfers out, we've heard it here. So.
Well, maybe it is. I mean,
maybe it is. Maybe it is.
We'll try to find out for you, caller.
We'll try to find out. Okay.
I appreciate it.
All right. See you, man.
See you. Bye.
Okay. Somebody don't like Greenback, that's for sure. Go ahead, caller, you're on there.
Hey. Hey, can't hardly hear you.
Can't hear us.
Turn the volume up.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Yes, sir, that's better. Hey, congratulations to the Oak Ridge Wildcats for their great victory tonight.
Okay.
Shout out to you. Jody Wright sitting there. He's looking mighty fine, just getting a little bit older looking.
All right.
Hey, Jody.
How you doing?
Who are you talking to?
I have no idea.
Well, I'll give you a pretty good guess. We go back a long way with the Fulton Falcons and the basketball boys, if you'll remember going to Science Hill with me.
Okay, I do. Yes, I do.
Well, I just wanted to shout out at you and say I'm mighty happy to see you.
Well, it's good to talk to you.
Yes, sir. You tell Rob and his dad, them old timers up there, Mr. Ronnie's still around, still happy.
You still driving?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll call Rob in the morning and tell him I talked to you.
How's his daughters doing now?
They're both good. One's graduated from college and grad school. The other one's there at UT, but they're both doing good.
Oh, my word. I'm so happy to hear that. Yes, sir. They was little cheerleaders up there in Fulton years ago.
Yes, sir.
We don't forget them.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we've been taking care of your, I believe it was volleyball, or volleyball. I can't remember, but this year I've been up there and I've been wondering about you, and I'm just happy to see you.
It's good to talk to you, Ron.
Yes, sir. I'm here for the kids. Yes, sir. You take care and keep up the great work and tell Rob and his dad and the old timers hello for me.
I sure will.
Them two hoodlums sitting there next to you, just keep a smile on their face.
Gotcha, man.
Have a good evening. We appreciate you, brother. Bye-bye.
See you, man.
Said looking older. I wonder if he's talking to you.
He probably was. Go ahead, caller. You're on there. Hello. Hello. All right, we're out of here. Weatherman. All right.
I tell you what, it's funny. you know
bus
Ron.
driver.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We know Ron.
Yeah.
Ronnie, bus driver. Called in tonight.
Busty give you special instructions.
That's right.
When you get on his bus.
Yeah.
And you better sit down and strap it up because he's going to hit the gas.
That's right.
Yeah, bus driver called in.
He's going to get you there.
He's going to get you there. It might be a different route, but he'll get you there.
All right, hey, Jody, when will they set regions?
So after schools decide to move up, they'll have a week. Then they'll release the districts and regions. And then the next thing is, once they release those, schools can appear before the board to appeal that. Say, for instance, they look at dots on a map and they put these schools right here in a district. And but the reality is, I'll finish that story. Let's get Coach Gaddis.
Go ahead, Coach.
Hey, how you doing?
Coach, big win tonight.
Well, it was. I appreciate it. That was a huge win. That's the biggest win in a while, several years, to be honest.
Coach, I know last week I picked you to win, and in this, everybody's talking about did you have some problems offensively in the second half tonight? It seemed like the offense sputtered a little bit maybe or something.
Well, in the second half, to be quite honest, I thought they made some pretty good adjustments, and we didn't execute well. They slowed us down for sure. We didn't have any offensive scores in the second half, which wasn't good. And they, on the flip side, they started running the ball on us effectively, changed the momentum totally. And, we thank goodness we intercepted the pass by Jonathan Stewart, who ran it back for a long touchdown. Otherwise, we're in trouble, but it turned out okay in the end.
Yeah, you had 3 big interceptions tonight on the defensive side. Defense still playing well. You played really good to win the game. Anyway,
well, yeah,
it doesn't really matter.
4 or 5 turnovers, I think, and defense. In the second half, they ran the ball on us, which surprised me, but I think they eventually just kind of wore us down. But we played a good defensive game for pretty much 3 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter, we seemed to tire out, and our offense wasn't keeping the ball enough. So, but we managed to squeak it out.
Okay, Coach, this is a big win tonight because it's probably going to guarantee you possibly 2 home games.
Well, it's going to guarantee us 1 for sure, and we'll have to see if we win that one. Depends on who wins the other one to see if we're home or away.
How big's that for the Wildcats to be playing at home instead of being on the road?
Oh, that's huge. That's huge. And also what it does, if I'm reading this right, it puts Powell and West in the same bracket. So if we can win the first 2 rounds, we'd only have to face one of those 2 teams rather than both of them.
Well, I don't know if you've heard this already tonight or not, but West got shellacked by Catholic tonight. So
West is dealing with some COVID issues, and I'm sure they were missing some starters. So I don't put much stock into that score.
Well, maybe they should have been like you and just took the week off like you're going to do next week, which we think is a pretty smart coaching move, really.
Probably would have been a good idea, but hopefully they came out of the game physically okay. I just think they have some COVID problems.
Hey, Coach Gaddis, this is Jody Wright here. You reckon since we're not be able to play football this week that you and I could meet down at Pizza Inn on Wednesday and play checkers or cornhole or something for that region win, winner take all?
Now, what do you think, Jody? Now, I'm very confident that I would win either match, but I'm not going to put it to risk.
I got you.
Hey, good talking to you, Jody. I got a text from Rob earlier and appreciated that text, and I really hope y'all coaches and players get well soon.
Yeah, we've got about 5 coaches and 5 players that are out of commission right now, so we're hoping they get back soon.
Well, I sure hope so, and either way, though, when they do get back, I wish y'all the luck in the world against Ray County. I hope our region sweeps round 1.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good win tonight. That's always a good win. Powell's really good football team, and I know you guys had to play well to hold those guys off down the stretch.
Yeah, we're playing pretty well right now, thank goodness. We had to tonight. Like you said, Powell's got a great football team.
Hey, Coach, appreciate you calling in and appreciate you making me look good again this week. So keep it rolling.
Hey, you keep making those predictions. I like them.
All right. See you, buddy. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
See you, Jody. Bye-bye.
See you, Coach.
Great caller. You're on the air.
That was me a call a while ago. I had phone on mute. But anyway, Tennessee just plumb out suck all 3 phases.
What did you say? Tennessee just plumb out sucked on all 3 phases. Okay. Yes, we agree with you. They did. But now listen, are you sitting down and everything right now?
I'm sitting down in my recliner.
I want you to tell us honestly, is Tennessee going to win tomorrow or lose?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm a true fan. Tennessee's going to win, but they're going to lose.
Yeah. Sure. Okay,
it's a win-loss situation.
It's a win-loss situation.
Tennessee's going to win 37-17.
I vote for Tennessee any day of the week, twice on Saturday.
All right, then. Give us a score.
Give you a score. 54-0.
No.
54-0.
61-17 Bama is what this guy just texted in.
61-17 Bama.
I wouldn't be surprised they don't score 50 points.
All right, get your phone off mute the next time you call us in.
Yeah, I'll catch you later.
See you, bud.
Yeah.
Great caller, you're on the air.
Hey, how you doing again? How could a ref let a score be 84-8?
I don't think the refs got anything to do with it.
Looks like he'd have called that game.
Well, there's rules they got to go by. They probably had a running clock the whole
He doesn't have the
half.
authority to call the game.
Doesn't have. He has to play. They got to play the game.
Running clock, right? The whole second
Running
half.
clock, the whole second half. I mean, it didn't take long to play the second. Who was that 84-8 game, if you don't mind?
It just went off.
Who was it?
South Pitt and Sale Creek.
South Pitt and Sale Creek. Golly. Woo.
Would that make you kind of feel bad, though, to beat somebody that bad?
Should.
Yeah.
If you're the coach.
Well, I mean, what do you, I guess, I don't know. I don't know what you, I'm sure they just ran the ball. If you can't stop them running, I mean, what do you do?
Play your freshman and your sophomore.
Well, what if you're doing that and they still can't stop? I mean, I guess there's just nights you just don't have it. I mean, that's just me. I don't know.
That's humiliation right there.
Well, I wouldn't think a high school
team.
coach would run a score up like that, but, I know you give kids that are on the third team or fourth team a chance to play, and they deserve an opportunity to score like everybody else. But, when it comes to a point in time when you're just running it up the 2-hole or the 3-hole, I mean, if you can't stop them, it's really it's not your fault. I mean, I don't know what you do with 84-8, but I don't know.
Looks like the TSSAA could step in and say, hey, don't be running up a score like it.
Well, they have.
I mean, look at the kids on the other side. Look at Sale Creek kids. They go home and tell their mom and dad they got beat 84-8.
They have stepped in to a certain extent. They put a running clock the whole second half to make the game go by quicker. What if the clock stopped like it normally would on everything? That might not be 84-8. It might be 184-8.
But it was 50-8 at halftime.
50-8 at half. Well, they score as much in the second half. That's one way to look at it. I don't know. I can't answer your question. I don't know.
Well, all right. You fellas have a good one. I appreciate it anyway.
I don't know what the TSSAA could do. They're not playing defense or offense, and I'm sure the coach on the South Pitt side probably just ran the ball in the second half.
You'd hope.
I'm sure he did. I would be disappointed if he didn't, but I don't know. I mean, some nights you got it, some nights you don't.
Yeah.
Apparently, Sale Creek didn't have it tonight.
To get back to the classification thing in the regions before Jody leaves.
So there's so for instance, you've got the way they align districts and regions are simply dots on a map. Just literally they'll have dots on a map and clusters. So for instance, they may have these schools in this cluster in a district, and then this school comes to the board and says, we're close to these schools over here, but the reality is there's a mountain range right there, and this is very common in East Tennessee. There's a mountain range, and it takes us an hour and 20 minutes to get to this place over here. We can go this way, and it's easier for us. You have the geographical things in the state. You got a time change, time zone change. You got the Cumberland Plateau. So you got the ruralness of East Tennessee. So schools, if they aren't happy with their, and they can present sound logic, but they can come to the board and appeal their district, and which would affect possibly district and region on the 12th of November. So then everything after the 12th will be fine. So the state will set regions and districts, but they won't be finalized till the board finalizes them at the meeting on the 12th.
Of November?
November, yes.
So everything should be finalized here in the next couple of weeks, or 2 or 3 weeks then. So after everybody's had a chance to say yay or nay, up or down, or wherever they're going to stay where they're at or go up one.
And I'd be surprised. Last time there was a lot of movement across the state, a lot of movement. And
like people bumping up classes?
Bumping up classes, yeah. Of course, you can't bump down. But I would just be, I haven't heard a whole lot of scuttle. I just don't think there'll be a lot of movement, especially here in East Tennessee. Now, maybe in Middle and West, I'm not privy to those conversations, but I just don't think there'll be a whole lot of movement in those areas here in East Tennessee.
You had a lot of people dodging people in football, and that's why that's what you have.
Oh, okay.
That's why you had a lot of jumping around. What was that, 4 years ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah. We just found out Sale Creek's been playing football for 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
So.
I mean, everybody's got to start out somewhere. I mean, when you into it, so
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know what to say about it. I mean, it's a shocking score, but I mean, I really don't know what you do.
Yeah.
Well, in some sports, in soccer, for instance, once they get to 5 goals, then the clock continuously runs. And once you get to 9-goal lead, then the game is immediately over. But in football, I guess to counter the argument right there is if that's the case, you would lose valuable playing time for a lot of these young kids. I mean,
Yeah, that's
once you get, again, once that running clock starts, and Jonathan can tell you, man, it goes quick.
Fast.
So, you need to get those kids. They need to see some playing time, and those second and third teamers some playing time on Friday nights under the bright lights. And so,
well, that's what I was saying. They practice for 8 or 9 weeks here or longer, and they deserve to get to run the ball and score too. If that's
I can say that
sympathize with getting beat 84.
Yeah, there's probably in a game like that. I don't think there's a whole lot of good feelings on either side. That guy that won 84-0, he's probably asking himself the question, did I do everything? I didn't. I feel bad, and those aren't those kind of wins that you really just gloat about, and likewise the guy that got beat that bad is probably feeling. So that's not that's just not a good situation, I don't think, for either coach.
Good deal.
Good deal on that.
Hey, a couple of things before we go to a commercial here. Do you see or have you heard anybody talking about moving kickoffs to 7 o'clock?
Doesn't it change in the playoffs anyway?
Well, it does, but I'm talking about for the regular season. There's been some talk this year that moving forward, since the ball's thrown a lot more and games last longer, would you looking at moving games to 7 o'clock since the playoffs start at 7 o'clock anyway?
And you would need to do that. For that to work, Jonathan, that would need to be done kind of widespread. I think if you did it in pockets, it would cause some confusion. I mean, and I'll say this, if I'm expecting a 7:30 kickoff and I show up at 7:30 and the game started at 7 and you're going to ask me to pay $8 to get in, and I'm buying 3 tickets, I'm not going to be real happy. So I think, you've lost a quarter. So I can say as an athletic director, man, I'd love it. But I think too.
But you want everybody in the KCS to do it if you're.
But I go back to that point we said earlier. We talked about classifications for football. I mean, we've got teams going from Knoxville to Johnson City for a football game. That's a region football game, and you have it all over the state. So we're asking parents to.
They leave at lunch anyway.
Again, that work till 5, and I've got to drive 2 hours or 2.5 hours. So that's going to be your rub right there. That's going to be the thing that's going to cause problems.
Quick caller, you're on the air.
Hey, David there, you and Jonathan. I can't believe you guys got Jody Wright down there tonight.
We're scraping the bottom of the barrel, buddy.
Dig up, see him down there. There's Jody there. He's a great guy. I love him, Kim, to death there. I know they weren't able to make it up here to Mountain View Park this year, but next year things may be a little bit better there. But I was going to ask Jody there, are you going to be out of the playoffs this year because of this pandemic there? Do you guys still got a chance to make the playoffs?
We'll go in as the number 4 seed, Mike. We are 3-1 in the region, so they're seeding playoffs this year based on not on overall record, but on number of wins. Because when you get a COVID game, the team that has to, the team is not able to play, doesn't receive a win or a loss. The team that you were playing receives a win. So we are 3-1, which when you look at wins for the playoffs, that puts us as a 4 seed. So we will more than likely be going on the road to Ray County the first week of the playoffs.
Oh, that's a good deal. I didn't know how that would work out there with you having a, I don't know if you'd call it forfeit or whatever with a game or two there or whatever, but I'm glad to hear that you and Coach there is going to be able to make it to the playoffs there, and I wish you as well there and stuff there. Wish a little luck out there toward the Clinton Dragons. That was a tough loss tonight there, but Anyway, I'm glad to see you on the program there tonight, there, buddy.
Good talk to you, Mike.
You too, buddy. All right, yeah, you guys be safe going home.
All right, see you. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right, let's jump out. You got anything else, Cox, before we let the coach go?
Let's rock and
He
roll.
can stay if he wants to. He can do whatever he wants. But we're going to jump out. Let's take another
Past
commercial
curfew.
break. Past
Past
curfew.
curfew.
Let's jump out and take another commercial break. We'll be right back just in a couple minutes.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the diamond.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Make this spring all about enjoying the experience. When you ride on your new Ferris commercial mower featuring patented suspension technology, you'll have more than freshly manicured grass. You'll experience productivity and comfort like never before. And because you won't be slowing down for those rough spots, you'll mow more lawn in less time. Ferris, experience suspension.
Your local Ferris dealer is SL Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood. Call 865-354-0600.
Here is Helen Hammer.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. A lot of years have passed since that TV ad. Hammer stores are still offering up-to-the-minute fashions for men and women, famous label outdoor wear and boots, area rugs, and exciting purchases. All at Hammer's famous low price.
Race on down!
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the hot water wars. A Renai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do.
Feel the comforts of home with natural gas. Natural gas tankless water heaters cost almost 3 times less to operate annually than the electric models. Make the switch today.
Renai, hot water for all.
You know, we've not really, welcome back to the 5-Star Preps Friday Night Scoreboard. I was going to say, we've really not given the phone number out tonight. We've not had to. You should know it by heart now, but it's 483-8112 if you want to talk to me and Cox. We'll be more than glad to talk to you. Appreciate everybody that's called tonight. We always talk Tennessee football, and we'll do that here in the next 4 or 5 minutes. And I'm sure we'll have a lot to say about it tonight. You know, Cox thought Tennessee was going to win last week.
I did. It's Kentucky.
Yep. Go ahead, caller. You on the air?
Yeah.
Going good. How you doing?
All right, this is Miller.
Hey,
I got a question for Coach Wright there.
He's already gone, John. He just walked out the door.
Just walked out the door.
He did.
Well done.
He just walked out the door.
All right. I was just going to call and ask him about some old-time football.
Okay. Well, he just walked out the door. We'll try to have him back down here again.
Okay. Hey, y'all satisfied with the reclassification and stuff?
Well, I don't know about satisfied. It is what it is. I mean, the numbers,
Exactly.
the numbers are the numbers, and yeah, I think I am.
Clinton got a good draw in basketball and baseball and softball.
Well, you know how it is, Don. You just got to man up, you know.
Yeah, you got to man up.
No matter who you're playing, you just got to man up.
Man up, that's right. Hey, the Dragons played a whole lot better tonight, John. Didn't you think so?
I didn't go up there, but I listened to it.
Well, they played better.
Oh, was that in Campbell County?
This is the first part of next year already. You know, they're working on next year right now.
Yep, they are. You're right.
Changing OC, right?
All right, guys, I'll let y'all go, man.
Thanks, man. Quick caller, you on there?
Hey, David, I just checked South Pittsburgh's scores last week. They beat a team last week 76-0.
Wow, it must be a weak region down there, or ever who they're playing won. I don't know who they. Now listen, let's not take nothing away from South Pitt. It's a good football team. They're not an easy out. They're not an easy out when they play Coalfield, because they come to win. And South Pitt's strong football program.
Yeah, but winning's one thing, but slaughtering somebody's another.
Well, it is what it is. I don't know how you, like I told you earlier, I don't know how you prevent it, stop it. The clock's running. Other than the other team just get the snap and automatically go down on the ground. I mean, I don't know what you gain. I don't know how you get. And I'm sure some of these smaller schools are playing maybe 8th graders. Schofield plays 8th graders. I'm sure you're trying to get these kids all the help. And Sell Creek's only been in playing high school football for 4 years. So I don't know.
Then maybe Carmel will come back to South Carolina. Well, 84 to nothing.
I can tell you this much: Carmel don't come back to them too much because they're a pretty good football team.
Yeah.
Got a lot of respect for them. They're a pretty good football team.
Yeah, I've been down there one time when Spring City played them, and it was a score about like that too.
Yeah, they're good.
All right, y'all have a good one now. Thanks.
They're down there close to the line down there. I think they're the only place that's got a Walmart that. That's the only thing they got. It's a Walmart.
Yeah.
I think that's true. So, but anyway, like I said, week 10's in the book. I don't know tonight. I guess there are some. If you listen to people that think they're experts, I don't claim to be one of those, but I think the Kingston Pigeon Forge game tonight. I didn't know Pigeon Forge was having the year they have, and I thought the reason that they brought I can't think of his name now, the coach back to Pigeon Forge, the reason he went back is to rebuild.
Coach Meadows.
Meadows, yeah, and he's a good football coach. Everywhere he's been, he's won. I didn't know Pigeon Forge was that good this year. So Kingston, a lot of people picked Kingston to lose tonight. A lot of people last night were picking Carter to beat Gibbs tonight. So I think next week's showdown between Central and Gibbs is for the region championship.
That's right. Central wins their home.
Yep.
For the first 3 rounds.
Yep.
They lose.
Central played a whole lot. I thought Central looked and I've been I said last week I thought there'd be a new champ in 5A. It wouldn't be Central's to claim anymore. I don't know that I still don't believe that, but Central played a whole lot better last night, and they looked like a team that's won a state championship before that. I mean, that program, I thought they played a whole lot better last night.
Odd year to be having a first-year head coach.
Yes.
Yep, really odd year.
Really odd year. So last week we sat here and talked about Tennessee, maybe winning because it's Kentucky, and we said, well, don't know, and we thought low-scoring game, maybe 10, 14 points, maybe 17, something like that, and Tennessee just came out and laid an egg.
Absolutely
laid an egg. So let me lay this on you and see what you think. They say Tennessee coaches, but you're always judged on 3 games: Georgia, Florida, Alabama. Okay? So Florida's a little later on in the year this year, so we won't know this. So we've already lost to Georgia. Alabama's tomorrow. Anybody in their right mind is not going to pick Tennessee. They might take the points, maybe. I don't even know.
What are the points?
21. That's what I've heard, 21. I don't know if that's correct. I don't know if it's changed.
Who's the starting quarterback for the Vols?
JG.
Is he?
That's what they're saying. Now, you can't start. Don't you really think you start Harrison Bailey tomorrow against Alabama as a freshman and put him in there when Pruitt has said publicly that he didn't get any practice because of COVID and everything else? He didn't get any reps. That they had so many kids out that they couldn't get him reps. You think he put him in there tomorrow? But my question will be, and I'll ask it as soon as we get through with Jesse. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, guys. It's Jesse Smithey. How are you tonight?
Jesse, we're doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm all right. Anybody out there in Oak Ridge excited tonight? Y'all had any excited Oak Ridge callers tonight?
A few, yes. And Coach plus Coach Gaddis was pretty excited tonight when he called in. Might be one of the biggest wins he's had in his career in a while.
You know what? It's some of the guys that I work with at 5-Star Preps can tell you, we had a sneaking suspicion it might happen tonight, and it did, and they were able to hang on and win that football game. And who would have thought that 2 or 3 weeks ago, Oak Ridge would be a 2-seed hosting a first-round playoff game? I just don't think there's many of those kind of people out there.
After the loss they suffered to DB, I really wondered how the Wildcats would make it.
Not me.
No.
Not me.
He's on that Joe Gaddis Kool-Aid.
No, I'm telling you. Oh, look at Oak Ridge traditionally. Oak Ridge always plays better towards the end of the year. They start playing better towards the end of the year. It's been that way the last 3 or 4 years in Oak Ridge. That's just me.
Except when they lost to Fulton in Week 11 last year.
Okay. I mean, you would have to throw that in there. But anyway, I mean, I just thought, Coach Gaddis told me something a couple weeks ago. His running back was healthy, finally getting healthy. Right. I think that right there played a big thing in it tonight. I think he's a little puzzled tonight that defensively they couldn't stop him, and then offensively they sort of went in a foxhole or something. They didn't in the fourth quarter didn't have too much. They didn't do too much, so I don't know. But I think it's a huge win for Coach Gaddis.
No, it definitely is. And you mentioned Kendall Jackson, the running back there, and I'm sure there were a lot of people yapping in his ear because in the offseason there's a lot of hype around him. He got the Tennessee offer. He got the Arizona State offer. And halfway through his junior year, he wasn't living up to that billing. I think injuries played a part in that. And I think, like you mentioned, him finally starting getting healthy, I think he wanted to make up for some lost time and get some yardage. And he had, I think, 160 yards rushing last week against Mount Juliet. And I'm sure that gave him confidence going into the night. So just an absolute huge win by Oak Ridge tonight. And 5A football continues to be perplexing in terms of trying to predict correct scores, whether it's Region 3 5A, whether it's Region 2 5A. We saw Gibbs just put an absolute beat down on Carter. We saw Halls beat Central last week, and then Central turn around and beat South Doyle. The 5A playoffs are just absolutely going to be bonkers. You can't convince me otherwise.
No, and Jesse, in the last couple of weeks, I've not been too impressed with Central, but I thought Central looked a whole lot better last night than what they had in the previous weeks.
Looked a whole lot better, looked a lot more engaged in what they were doing, more motivated in what they're doing. So you got to give Nick Craney, the head coach there, it's his first year. He found the right button to push, and he mentioned it on air a couple times last night about just telling his football players to ignore all the negativity out there, ignore all the noise that you hear, and let's just focus on what's going on in this locker room. And I think that did a little bit in terms of galvanizing that team. And the return of Jaden Horton, an all-state player in 2019, to the secondary and the wide receiver corps, I think has kind of bolstered that team's ability level. They're still not putting up a lot of points, and that's disconcerting. But that defense kind of rose to the occasion last night and helped the offense out a little bit.
And then I guess another big game tonight was Maryville. They just keep rolling. I mean, I think everybody thought they were going to. This was a shot for them to lose tonight, but didn't happen.
There was a lot of talk about it, and because Maryville had some players out with COVID-related issues, and they're going on the road to face a McMinn County team that's undefeated, that has arguably one of the state's best running backs in Jalen Hunt, who's approaching 2,000 yards, and he got his yards tonight. He ran for 228 yards against that Maryville defense, but he's a one-man show, and they have a big offensive line to produce for Jalen Hunt, but I think they only passed for 10 yards tonight. You can't be one-dimensional against Maryville. Wow. Even though McMinn County hung tough, and I think it was 7-0 at the half, and Maryville had to grind to get out those two scores in the second half to ultimately pull away. I think McMinn County still turned some heads tonight and earned a little bit of respect because they went into that game a year ago against Maryville undefeated and just absolutely got smacked around up in Blount County. And so didn't go their way tonight, but still impress the people, and maybe we see them rematch in the playoffs. I'm not sure.
Well, and then let's go upper East Tennessee a little bit. Keysport Dobbins Bennett falls tonight to Science Hill.
Typical. Is that not typical?
Yeah.
I mean, how often do we talk about that? About every year, it's either Dobbins Bennett or Science Hill, and there's somebody up there. The chatter comes down to Knoxville and reaches it somehow, and this is going to be the year to to beat Maryville and this, that, and the other. And look, they very well still may beat Maryville in the playoffs. I don't know.
No.
But when you have a 10-point loss to a Science Hill team that's been beaten this year by some others, and you got Alcoa next week, this is not the way you want to enter the 6A playoffs. So if they're going to get back into conversation, they're going to have to beat Alcoa. And it was a tight game a year ago. It was a really tight ball game between Dobbins-Bennett and Alcoa a year ago, and that game was in Blount County. So this team, again, this is a weird year. I don't know if Dobbins-Bennett was missing starters for COVID. I don't know, but it looks bad from our vantage point when you're losing by 10 points to your rival, and you're talking about possibly knocking off Maryville and making a playoff run.
And then another game tonight that everybody was picking Kingston to lose to Pigeon Forge, but a big win for Coach Pankey. So I didn't know Pigeon Forge was that much improved from last year.
They are. Yeah, they're improved. They got a couple key seniors up on the line that are really big players, and a linebacker receiver who's a really big kid, about 6'3", 195 pounds. But they're also really young in some spots too, especially in the backfield. And I think the Pigeon Forge had a chance to win it maybe, and didn't get the conversion or whatever happened. I think I saw on Twitter, but nevertheless, it's a much needed and much well-deserved win for Brian Pankey. And we've talked about the things that have gone on in his personal life this year, the losses that he has suffered, and to have a feel-good moment like this, I'm sure did a lot to that locker room and did a lot for him emotionally.
And I know the Dragons didn't get a win tonight, but they probably scored more points tonight than they have all year long.
Wow. I mean, what a game that was. Saw it come down to the wire, and another case of a missed PAT, right? It happened in the Powell Oak Ridge game, and I think it happened in that game with Campbell County. And look, I mean, this season's not about earning a playoff spot for Clinton. It's about improvement and building towards the future. And so when you have games like this late in the season that you can take with you into the postseason, some of those moral victories that you don't like to hear about, but sometimes they actually work. And so things that you can point to in the offseason for Coach Keith and say, okay, these are things that we did well late in the season. Build upon those and see what we can do in 2021.
Brick by brick.
Brick by brick, yeah. Champions of life, John.
I heard that.
COL, champions of life.
I heard that, man. You got any questions for him?
Jesse, did the Grace CAK score?
Oh yeah, I was going to ask.
It didn't look competitive by the scoreboard. Was that a competitive game, or did CAK manhandle your buddy all night?
It was competitive, and there was a moment there in the second half where it was a 13-point game, and Grace Christian had the ball, and they faced the fourth down and went for it. And one of CAK's big defensive linemen got his arm up and got a mid on the ball and knocked it down, and that gave CAK a short field to go ahead and tack on another touchdown. So it was kind of back and forth between 1-2 score games the whole night until they're late in the second half, and Grace Christian kind of rolled the dice knowing that it needed a score to really maybe turn the anxiety level up a little bit. And it just was not able to even advance that ball past the line of scrimmage. CAK knocked it down and just took complete control from there. So CAK is 9-0 now. They'll take on Webb next week, and whoever wins that game will be the number 1 seed, I believe, in that region, because Webb pulled off a big upset tonight of Chattanooga Christian. So we kind of thought tonight was the region championship between CAK and Grace, but it looks like we're going to get an extension on that bye week.
Next week, where do you turn your attention to? I mean, any big games coming down the stretch for the last week? I mean, last couple of years, Oak Ridge and Fulton have been a big one, but obviously that's not even going to happen. Where do you look next week?
Well, for teams like Bearden and McMinn County, it's in week 11, it's all about cementing that playoff seeding. For McMinn County, coming off of a loss to Maryville, they need to beat another rival of Bradley Central to get that number 2 seed. It's not a week of marquee games outside of the Alcoa Dobbins-Bennett matchup, but it's just take care of business, get your seeding, make sure everybody stays healthy, and move on. We talked about CAK and Webb. Gibson Central is a big game for Region 2-5A seeds, and Gibbs really needs to pull an upset there. But South Doyle Powell is a big game. It's not a region game, but there's a lot of storylines there with Clark Duncan and Matt Lowe that's been told a few times over, and South Doyle's coming off of a loss, Powell's coming off of a loss, so really an opportunity for one of those two teams to regain a little bit of confidence and momentum going into the playoffs.
Good deal, Jay. We appreciate you. Thanks for all you do.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
I see, Jess. Talk to you next
Vols.
week. Yeah.
Vols by 50.
Vols by 50. I heard that. See you, man. Quick caller, you're on the air.
Hey, guys. Hey, I was reading my stat lines here, and I want to make sure this is right. Have y'all heard this? The running back for CAK, did he have 35 carries for 298 yards? Is that right?
I do think he had over 200 yards rushing because I was
go ahead.
I was reading on Twitter, and he was over 200 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, the stat line says 35 carries for 298 yards. That's unbelievable.
That is, and I know they
just that is a wonderful performance.
I know they had it. They got the ball back with 3 minutes to go in the second quarter, and they run it down Grace's throat, 80 yards on 3 or 4 carries.
Yeah, I mean that's something to tell your grandkids about right there.
Heard that.
That's a great night right there. That's unbelievable.
It is.
All right, see you guys.
See.
I just want to make sure I had that right.
If you don't, we'll let you know.
Okay, appreciate it.
You don't mess up a lot.
See you.
See you.
All right, my question, B, was going about Tennessee. So Pruitt's been at Tennessee 3 years now. He's not won against Florida, Georgia, or Alabama. It doesn't look like that's going to happen this year, probably neither. Is he on the hot seat next year to win two of those games at least, or does it not really matter just because of the COVID stuff and Tennessee won't be able to afford to dismiss him because of his buyout, just being that they're in a $147 million loss this year over their $118 million, really. That's what you said. It wound up being $9 million after it was all said and done, what they actually lost. But the football program lost $40 million. So does Pruitt, has the COVID bought Pruitt another year just because financially they can't get rid of him? Because, I mean, he might be the best recruiter in the world. And he is a good recruiter. But if he that's what he's judged on. You agree? That's the games that Tennessee football coach is judged on?
Yes. Unless he has unless he just has a disaster ending to this year.
Disaster being how? Like not win another game? Not win another game? Well, I can see that.
That's right. And then next year having another bad year.
Yeah.
I honestly think he's your football coach for 2 more years minimum.
I probably agree with that.
2 more years.
Do you think he should have been given an extension?
I don't know. I think sometimes in college football you give them an exemption, but you don't give them a little more money to show the recruits your loyalty to that guy. Tennessee needs to continue to get good recruiting classes. The problem is they're landing 3 stars. Alabama's landing 5 stars.
Correct. I heard something today about the firing, they fired the defensive line coach.
Weird.
Do you know that Tennessee's defensive line was ranked in the top 5 in the SEC and was probably playing better than any part of their defense? How do you fire the coach? I mean, I know we're second guessing. We probably don't. I don't claim to know everything that's going on over there. But how do you fire the defensive line coach when that's really going on and they're really playing? You're told they're not playing very well, and you want more productivity out of your defensive line. I mean, I don't know how you explain that.
You obviously are bringing something unhealthy to the program.
You have to be. So we get fined $100,000 because Pruitt didn't know how to wear his mask, and now we're going to give $800,000 to assistant football coach. It's not even coaching.
So there's you another $1 million.
There's you another $1 million. So anyway, let's see who this is. Quick caller, you're on the air.
Jeremy Pruitt will not, and that football team will not progress if JG continues to be the quarterback. That man has reached his limit. That's just how it is. It sucks. But fifth-year senior throwing 2 pick sixes in a row, and Coach Pruitt pulling him out And explaining why he did that, he said, I had to calm him down. What does that even mean, calm him down? Against Kentucky, calm him down? He's a fifth-year senior. Calm him down for what? He should be a veteran.
Oh, I can agree with you.
I'm going to take a different road here. Do you think Jeremy Pruitt has someone better on that bench?
You know what? At this point, weigh your risk.
I'm going to ask you again.
We know what we're getting with JG, and it's not really good.
I'm going to ask you again. Do you think he has someone better on that bench?
I would like to think Harrison Bailey is better than the product that is Jared Garantano.
I'm going to ask you again. Do you think he has someone better on that bench?
I said I would like to think Harrison Bailey is better than Jared Garantano.
So basically what you're saying is no.
Yeah, because we're talking about remember now, we're talking about a freshman that apparently, if you listen to Coach Pruitt, he's not ready yet. He's not had enough practice reps. I don't even know if they could use the whole playbook with him. That's my take.
I can say that I think Jeremy Pruitt is a very competitive guy, and I think he loves football, and I think he puts the best players that he has out there at every position.
If that's the case, then we are in trouble.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think it's sad that we do not have a better offensive coordinator and quarterback coach that cannot develop a quarterback to be any better than what we put on the field.
Did I just hear you say you don't think we have a very good offensive coordinator, Jim? You don't think?
I said I don't think we have I don't think our offensive coordinator or quarterback coach has done a good job of putting a good product on the field.
You see, I have to disagree there because I think it's all. I don't want to pin it on one guy, but you look what Chaney did at Georgia. He did a good job, but here he's dealt with JG. JG is extremely limited. And what can Chaney call with JG? You saw near the end of that game, they threw in the white flag with JG still in there. They were throwing 5-yard passes because they lost all confidence in him. Running the ball with Eric Gray, they lost all confidence. It's a very limited offense with JG and his confidence gone. A very limited offense. And like I said, I hate to pin it on one guy, but if that's the best we've got, then we are in trouble because JG is not the answer.
Well, the backup came in, and how did that work out?
Say again?
The backup quarterback came in. How'd that work out?
Not good at all. But you know what? Weigh your risk. Let's see how he does. Even if he throws a pick, weigh your risk. Hopefully he can develop out there in the game over JG because we know we're getting with JG. Strout, yeah, we saw a pick, but keep letting him develop out there, and hopefully he'll get better. JG's a fifth-year senior. I don't know what grade Strout is in, but hopefully he can develop if he continues to get playing time. If you continue trotting him out there for one play, well, yeah, he's not going to get any better. JG, we've seen, will not get better. He stayed the same as he was when he was a freshman. Poor decision-making.
But
I'm frustrated like every other Tennessee fan with the quarterback position. It's just extremely frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
That's a make or break for the team. I mean, it is. I think a lot of Tennessee people had high hopes this year. I think a lot of people thought JG had turned the corner because we're on, from last year through this year, the first couple of games, we're on an 8-game winning streak. But I think when you go back and look at everything, when you go back and look at those last 6 wins last year, look at those wins and tell me if those are quality, they're poor football teams. So Tennessee beat poor football teams. They should, but it's not really, you're not playing the Georgias, the Floridas, the Alabamas coming down the stretch like it's just, you got to look at the competition. Competition wasn't nothing to brag about, in my opinion, but, high hopes, ranked in the top 25 for the first time, even went all the way up to, number 14, I believe, maybe, something like that. Now they're completely out.
They should be.
And Coastal's in at 24.
Yep.
First time I think they've ever been ranked, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, let me ask you, Queen Cox, do you feel like you put someone else in there, let them develop, trial through air, trial through fire, or you continue putting the same product out there with knowing what you're going to get? And that's not a lot.
I'm going to say this is just me. Cox can give his own opinion. I don't think I think Bailey is the best option. Let me tell you why I think that. Because if there was a better option with the other two, I think they'd already be out there. And Pruitt has said but that Harrison Bailey did not get enough reps in fall camp and COVID and everything. You're throwing him. I mean, he could be damaged goods for the rest of his career at Tennessee. So you might have to ride it out this year, and the light looks brighter next year with Harrison Bailey as your quarterback. That's me.
Whoa.
Cox can say what he
I hope you understand. The scariest thing about this season is JG could come back next year. So.
They don't need to let him come back. I think Tennessee'd have to agree to that, and they're not letting him come back. He's not coming back. That's not happening.
Let's hope that's the case, because that would think about that, a 6-year senior playing the same way.
We're blaming JG, but let's go just a little bit further. Let's look at the offensive line. The offensive line has not played up to snuff all year long. This is the best offensive line Tennessee's supposed to have had in years. I bet right now they're not grading out. If we're grading a D out, it's somebody gave them a point or two to get a D. That's how bad the offensive line is. So it's an offensive line, and everybody thought, oh, we're gonna get Cade Mays. He's it. We're solid now. We're solid with Cade Mays. That's going to be worth 14 points. Well, they needed him Saturday, and he didn't get it.
Here's the thing about that. Those 2 pick sixes, he had protection. He had the protection he needed. They were just horrible reads and horrible decision-making.
Well, they are, I agree with you, but in the Georgia game, Tennessee could not run the ball against Georgia in the second half, and there was no protection. He got clobbered in that game. He got clobbered.
When you put a lot of pressure on a quarterback like Jarrett Garantano, then you have issues. He was doing too much. His decision making, along with he's being pressured, is not a good combo for the Tennessee offense.
I honestly thought Tennessee had a chance to beat Georgia. I really did.
Oh, I agree. But when you are putting that much time SEC game on a quarterback like Jarrett Garantano, we know what we're getting. Same thing last year with Alabama. He fumbled the ball. He just does not make good decisions. He fumbled it. He doesn't have pocket awareness. Doesn't know when he's about to get sacked. He has nothing that a fifth-year senior quarterback should have. He stays in the pocket too long. He doesn't try to run for it. He just holds on to it for too long, gets sacked, or gets fumbled, or fumbles the ball.
Expert. You're an expert.
Yeah, I agree. You need to be over coaching. You need to be coaching.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I am definitely a couch expert for sure. I see everything on the TV screen.
All right, man. We appreciate you calling. We'll get another line here.
Shout out to Chrissy Irwin and Jr.
All right, man. See you. Quick call, you on there?
Hey, Queener.
Yo.
I agree with Coach Pruitt 100% on this deal, because this season, I mean, this JG's last year, you know, and you got to ride him out. He's experienced, and he ain't going to get in there and go crazy. And all these people that's wanting Bailey to play, I'm going to throw one name at you, and you can remember this. Nathan Peterman. All right? They wanted a quarterback change, and they started Nathan Peterman down there in the swamp against Florida, and he looked like a 7th grader out there. He ain't he's a 5-star quarterback, but he's young. You got to let him mature a little bit.
I agree with you. I don't think they ought to start him. If I was going to play him, I play him.
I wouldn't even put him in the game against Alabama.
Well, if I'm going to play him, I play him.
Chance on getting him hurt.
I play him in the second half tomorrow, because Alabama's probably not going to put their studs out there the whole game.
He would not see the field against Alabama, because you don't want your 5-star future quarterback. I mean, that's your future. You don't put him out there to get hurt. That's crazy.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree.
I appreciate it.
See you, man. What do you think, Cox? You sit over and listen.
I'm still going to say those guys are in the trenches every single day with those guys, those players. And they have to have their best quarterback on the field. There's no way around.
I'm agreeing with you.
Now, I will say this. This is concerning to me. Guys in my wedding, good friend of mine, was the athletic director at Marietta High School for the last 3 years. He told me specifically, Jim Chaney never recruited Harrison Bailey as a quarterback when he was at Georgia.
never recruited him as a quarterback when what did he recruit him as?
Didn't recruit him at all.
They didn't recruit him at all?
Jim Chaney never recruited. This was Jeremy Pruitt. This is Jeremy Pruitt's recruit. Chaney never recruited the kid.
Yeah, but let me ask you.
He didn't have an offer from Georgia.
Let me ask you this, though. When it really comes down to it, it's not a Chaney recruit anyway. If he had been recruited, it still falls back to Pruitt. I mean, it's Pruitt. They're coming to Tennessee probably to play for Pruitt anyway, right?
But you know Chaney's out recruiting quarterback like David Cutcliffe was when he was the OC.
Yeah, I'm on board with you.
But it's very odd to me that they've not practiced this kid and tried to get him ready.
The reason they say they've not practiced him because he was out with COVID.
And for him,
some of the other people were out with COVID. They had so many that were out with COVID. It put them in a bad situation. So they had 48 at one time. I don't know. I mean, like you said, they're in the trenches every day, and they probably do have they're running the best out there on Saturdays. And that's what I said. I think if the other two quarterbacks, take Bailey out of the picture, if the other two were better than JG, I think one of those two would be playing today.
And I'll go different position. How in the world do we not have linebackers better than 27 and 33?
Yeah, 33 is a liability. I mean, because he's the type that I don't think you can depend on in a big game.
And 27's lost. He don't know where to line up.
No. Is he just a freshman?
Yeah.
He's a freshman. Well, he's not Tua, that's for sure. I mean, Tua, he didn't look good Saturday himself. See, Tennessee.
He plays harder than everybody else.
He does play hard, and I like him a lot. Yeah. So I'm not going to sit here and badmouth him too much. But and I'm not badmouthing JG. Man, listen, you got to give the guy some credit. He's took some you-know-what hits, man, and got back up. I don't know that I'd been able to.
He drove the football down the field, and on the interception, he had his running back wide open in the middle of the field. And here's the thing, if they score points there, we're probably not having this conversation right now. But go back to the first drive of the game. They got it 3rd and 2 on the 37. They couldn't pick up first down.
I think it's where it falls back to the offensive line. That's what I'm saying.
The next time you get a fumble, you get it down there, you miss a field goal.
What's been preached all year long about Tennessee? What have you heard all year long about Tennessee?
5-star O-line. It's going to be an awesome line. 5-star O-line. It's going to be a great O-line.
Getting Caden Mays is going to make it even better.
Bull crap.
And that's bull. It's not made it any better.
No.
I think right now the failure at Tennessee offensively is the offensive line.
I'd say there's a good chance it starts there.
Just my thought. Quick call, you on the air.
Hey, I got one more question. I swear I'll leave y'all alone.
Okay.
But how could anybody that's a Tennessee fan expect any offensive player on that team to look at Jim Chaney and expect them to listen to what he's got to say and tell them he knows something about football? He weighs 500 pounds. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's not a coach you're going to look up to and be like, this is my guy. I believe in him. I mean, that makes no sense to me at all.
I don't know if I can say I was a Chaney fan the first time around. I don't remember exactly, but I can say that this time around, the development of his quarterbacks, and as Jeremy Pruitt said, why are we throwing a 35-yard pass across the field on 3rd and 3 to get 4 yards?
I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like, I don't get it.
I don't
understand it.
We don't get it.
They got to be somebody they can find better, because them players, I guarantee you, they don't respect him.
He makes a lot of money to be an offense coordinator.
I agree.
Almost $1 million.
Hey, money you can't buy respect. You have to earn it.
That's true.
So, anyway, that's it. See you guys.
See.
So tomorrow, can they keep it within 4 touchdowns?
What's a good question? I don't know.
They'll have to score 25. They'll have to score 24 points to keep it within 28.
I don't think Saban will come in and beat him 80-0.
No. He'll score 50 on him.
He'll score 50 on him, but I think, like I said, if you want to play Bailey in the second half, I think you can play him without getting him killed probably.
I think Pruitt's a smart guy. Let me tell you something I was just listening to him say. I think he's a smart football coach. This is the best offensive line I've watched in college football. How smart of that is that for him to say that when he just let go of his D-line coach and he knows they're probably going to get whipped up front tomorrow?
Well, what's that say about your offensive line? I know when they're supposed to be one of the best in the SEC.
They are not good.
They're not good.
They've not been good.
They've not been
Butch
good.
Jones never had a good offensive line.
Even back in Philip Former's days, there was days we didn't have.
But it was a lot more consistent than it is now.
More consistent. Yeah, let's get this going.
Our running backs aren't as good.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, I'm going to tell you, what's going to happen to Garantano tomorrow is somebody's going to hurt him from Alabama.
Going to hurt him.
Because Alabama's got this big old boy. He could butt heads with a Sherman tank.
Well, it's definitely big boy football, so I think he knows what he signed up for. Man, he's took some legs. I don't know how he's got up, but
he's a tough guy.
He's a tough guy. You got to give him credit for being tough because he is tough.
But I seen this old boy play last week when Alabama played, and I mean he was big, and he hit that quarterback. He knocked that quarterback back 10 yards.
What if Georgia had a quarterback? How good would they be?
I don't know, but they're going to. Who's the quarterback coach for UT?
Winky.
Now, I don't know who was last year. This year's Winky.
Why don't they? What's T. Martin? Ain't he a quarterback assistant quarterback coach?
He's wide receiver coach. Has been ever since he started college football.
Why don't they put him to quarterback coach?
Sure.
Because he's the one that won the championship for him.
Yep. He's been wide receivers coach though one.
Yeah, and offensive coordinator. I don't know if that might not be his role at Tennessee for long.
So what do y'all think the score's going to be tomorrow?
I'm going to say, I don't think Tennessee, I'll be shocked if Tennessee scores. I'll say 50-7, just for be talking about
it. Yeah. I'd say Alabama will probably go easy on them the first half, and they do like Georgia done. They'll come in and start cleaning house.
All right, then.
No home crowd.
No. All right, you fellas, have a good one.
Not a lot going on. I think Tennessee comes out and loses tomorrow, probably 52-17.
Quick caller, you on the air?
Yeah, I'm behind Pruitt. And to develop a quarterback, you got to tell the kid, you don't do no thinking. I do the thinking for you. And you teach him to count to 3. And the play should be done within 3 seconds. If it's not, you teach him to act and what to do with the ball. And the first thing you teach him is to take care of the football. Yeah, the game is at the line of scrimmage, defense and offense. Chaney's mediocre. Anybody can call plays when you got a good offensive line, and we don't. Pruitt is the right heart for Tennessee. And anybody, that's why you go hard, Chaney, as an OC, quarterback coach, or anybody, to balance and equalize what you ain't got. Anybody can call it when you got a good offensive line. That's why you go out and you get somebody that can equalize it or balance it out. But we ain't got that, so yeah, you gotta develop a quarterback. Apparently, that's what we need to do. And like I say, you got to say, listen, son, I'm going to do your thinking for you until you learn how to think. And you, like I say, you teach him to count to 3, and the play should be delivered within 3 seconds. Or he takes care of the football, throws it away. Don't never give up the football. That's what the first thing you do to teach a quarterback is to take care of that football.
Absolutely.
And we need a good quarterback coach Cheney might be the guy. I don't mind eating crow when it happens, but yeah, anybody can call it. If you got a great offensive line, it makes him look good. But he's putting that kid in the wrong situation and letting him think for himself, and he reacts wrong every time, just about it. So you just toss him the coin when you take him out there. So just let him stay there and develop Harrison Bailey or somebody. Cause if you ain't got people that can build you a football team, you're just the Big Orange is not going to do it. And I'm a Big Orange fan all the way. So what you guys think about? How would you, Queener and Cox, develop a quarterback? You let him do his own thinking, or you say, no, son, I'm going to do your thinking. You teach him 1, 2, 3 things at a time. Once he gets that down, you teach him another thing or two.
Well, I think that's what Tennessee. I
really like your show.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I think what's happening with Tennessee right now, they've done that, Cox, because they're doing simple. They do simple stuff. The underneath. I mean, I don't know. I don't know too much about developing a quarterback, but I know if you've got a complicated offense, but JG says he's more comfortable in this offense this year than he ever has been because he's had an offensive coordinator for 2 years in a row, and they're on the same page. I don't know, man. I seriously don't know. Sad situation, but I don't know. I don't agree. I don't disagree with the caller. I'm not saying that Jeremy Pruitt should be fired. I didn't mean to indicate. If I indicated that, I didn't mean that.
He shouldn't be fired.
I think he's a good football coach too. But was Winky the quarterback? I just got a text that asked this question. I said, like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Was Winky the quarterback when Tennessee won the national championship at Florida State? And why we got him up here anyway for? Huh?
I don't know.
It's a good question, isn't it? Wouldn't you think? It's a real good question. We could go on all night. I mean, we could. You could go on all night with it. Let's get this be our last.
People are hacked off, and they should be.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Yeah. Go ahead, caller. You on the air?
What do you say, guys?
What do you say?
Is Brian Maurer, is he healthy?
I have no idea.
Well, that's who we need to have in there because JG's had his time. You didn't see any energy last week in the second half. The players, nothing. I don't know why Pruitt ain't brought him back in. He's been there. It's his third year. He's got 4 quarterbacks over there, and I know there's some circumstances with Bailey, and I think Maurer's had a hamstring, and Stroud, I don't know about him. He plays one play, throws the interception, he jerks him out. I mean, this is all on Pruitt. It's his third year. Bailey ain't going to get hurt. Put him in there. He played him there at the end of the game against Kentucky. I mean, Casey Clausen, he started against Alabama as a freshman. This is not the Alabama of now, but I just didn't see any energy level. I don't see the players rallying around him. I'm not over there. I don't know, but I know I seen last year Maurer came in, gave him a spark, and it seemed like I don't know. It seemed like I don't know.
Well, we keep going right back to JG though every time. So I think, as Cox said, he's made a pretty good point. After you think about it, I think Tennessee's probably playing the best guy. So that says we probably don't have anybody that's better than him. That makes sense when you really think about it. You got to think about it. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I can see that, and saw it last year, and I'm just tired of seeing it.
I understand. There's a lot of people tired of seeing it.
We all are.
We all are. Everybody is.
Right, and Maurer's healthy. He needs to be in there. Even Bailey. I put Bailey in there. What do you got to lose? We're losing anyway to Kentucky. First time in 36 years at home. What do you got to lose? I mean, run the ball too,
I'm telling you, it's a weird deal going to a game. You have no home field advantage at all. And then when you take away your home field advantage and you put a very average product in there at quarterback and he loses his confidence, and unfortunately your line's not good enough to dominate the line of scrimmage, run the football, you're going to get a result like you got Saturday when you turn the football over.
Right, it seemed like all the air just went out of the team.
Yep.
So, don't be scared, play.
Right.
But went up to Anderson County tonight.
No, I didn't go to Anderson County. I watched the first 2 series on Twitter and realized they were going to run over them for another region championship.
Right, I was there. Doing a little work for ACTV this year. They asked me to join them, so.
Does the Clinton people know about this?
Yes, sir. I was there rubbing elbows tonight.
So you're now an AC fan?
No, I'm not saying that. I said I was working for ACTV. They wanted a Clinton guy to go in there with the mix with the Fogarty boys. So, but I'm enjoying it, and hated to miss my Dragons game tonight. That's the only drawback, but I don't know why they didn't go for 2. Just watching the end of that game, I would have went for 2, go for the win there, but you get.
So did they miss a field goal?
block.
Did they miss the extra point to lose?
They got blocked.
Oh.
About 50 seconds to go in the game.
Wow.
And they drove down the field and cut it to 1, and then I was saying what you do on the drive. If they score, you go for 2. So I go on for 2. I go on for the win. I mean, you're 0-6.
Yep, you're the underdog on the road. Go for 2. If you're the favorite on the road, like Powell, kick the extra point, go play overtime against Oak Ridge.
Yep. Well, I understand Clinton changed offensive coordinators tonight. I was told that. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I was told.
I heard that too. I heard Coach Keith was calling the play.
Yep. So
I'm glad to see us put some points on the board.
Scored more tonight we probably have all year long combined.
Right. And that's good to see. Campbell County's offense, they can score some points. That's what I was afraid of coming in. I didn't know if we could score as many as them, but we was right there. And Anderson County, they were clicking tonight. East Hamilton, I thought they might have been a little overrated. They had them number 5 going into last week, and they got drilled by Walker Valley. So I figured AC would win that game by 2 or 3 touchdowns coming in, but it was 40-0 at halftime. And that Walker Martinez, he looked really good. He come in, he's completing 73% of his passes. I think it was like 59 of 71. And he had 4 touchdown passes in the first half. I think he was 7 for 12 for a little over 200 yards, but he's good.
So, am I hearing you correct? You think this is the year they go beat Greenville and Elizabethton?
I think they'll beat Greenville, and they might beat Elizabethton. I haven't seen Elizabethton play. I know they won the state last year. They got a real good quarterback I hear and a good receiver. So that's about all I know about them. I think they got a shot. They'll be at home. I think they got a pretty good shot. They beat them twice in the playoffs. I think 2017 and 18. Didn't have their way with them. Then last year they just come out of the blue and they won it all. I think this AC team, I think they're very capable of running the table. I don't know.
I think Elizabethton's got the best dual state quarterback in East Tennessee for sure.
Right, that's what I hear.
Yeah. Five-star prep team says that our guys that cover him say that there's nobody around this area that can throw it and run it like that kid outside of the Jones kid from Maryville, and he's bigger. He's more of a bruiser and a thrower.
Who, the Elizabethan?
No, the Elizabethan kid's fast and can scoot and has a great arm. The kid from Maryville's, he's a great runner, but he's more of a bruiser and not a flashy guy.
And I also think Elizabethan got just about everybody back on the offensive side of the football. They didn't lose anybody from last year, I don't. Or if they did, it's minimal.
Is he? I know Stanton Martin for AC. He was pretty good. He was real good. Is he that type of player? I guess.
I'm not going to speak on that because I didn't get to see Stanton Martin play but one game, and that was against Greenville.
I've seen Stanton play quite a few games, and he was he's runner-up Mr. Football, and he's good. But AC, I like their offensive line, I tell you, and their defense. That's going to be a game right there.
It's harder for me to comment and predict on Anderson County with the region schedule they play.
Right.
It all starts in a couple weeks for them. We'll find out. That's when it all starts.
Played Powell really good, and South Doyle, that's two pretty good teams they went toe-to-toe with, and probably should have won both those games. Jonathan, are you coaching this year?
Yep, I'll be at First Baptist Academy for my second year.
Now y'all be sanctioned in basketball?
Yeah, they've been sanctioned for about 4 years now.
Okay, so y'all in the private sector?
Yes, sir. Private sector, small division. We have 100 kids, and the biggest schools in our classification have about 350 to 400.
Y'all have 100?
Yes, 100 students in the high school.
How did y'all do last year in the tournament?
I got eliminated in the first round of the district tournament.
Who's all in your district?
Webb, Grace, CAK, Kings Academy, us, Berean.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in that league.
Okay, I saw y'all play last year. One game. You did a good job.
Was that against Campbell County?
No, it was against Oliver Springs.
Oh, yeah, Oliver Springs.
That tournament at AC.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about I know Clinton's 3A, Fulton's 3A in basketball. How's those districts going to shake out? Oak Ridge, Powell, and Campbell County and Carnes are all going 4A. There going to be enough Knoxville teams to have their own district?
Yeah, it looks that way. Yeah, it looks that way.
I'm trying to figure out where Clinton might be. Know they got AC and then Halls. They lost everybody else, and I don't know about Central. Central may be 3A.
You'll be Fulton. I think you'll probably get Fulton. No, I think you'll get Halls, Gibbs, Fulton, Anderson County.
Austin East.
And Austin East.
Well, that'll be exciting. I'm glad to see some new blood. I was hoping Clinton could have played 4A football. I'd love to play that. Carter and Gibbs and South Doyle, Seymour, I think that's the way that'll shake out. But Anderson County probably be in there too. But
comes in cycles, Sleepy. 5-6 years ago, 5A football was no good. 4A football was better. Now it's flipped.
Yeah, it's flipped.
But you got Elizabeth and Greenville who's dominated. So it's sort of what you're looking for. Regular season wins or postseason wins, or it's cool what you're looking for.
Think Alcoa will move up 4A?
No. No.
They're threatening to. I think they did that last time.
Never was in consideration.
Never did consider it.
Nope.
They didn't want to travel.
Gary Rankin's perfectly fine playing a couple big games a year and winning state championships.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, state championships.
All right, guys.
All right. Thanks, John.
Thank you, man.
See you, man. All right, Cox, you think Tennessee gets beat tomorrow just like I do? Next weekend's it up, folks, as far as the regular season goes, so we'll finish up week 11. There's still some pretty good games out here. Get out and catch you a game next week. Who's our game of the week, Brad?
OS Midway.
OS Midway. Should be a good game. So get out and watch that. You can watch that game right here on Channel 12. Good game tonight between Oliver Springs and Cofield. Hard-fought game from what I could see on TV. Wasn't there in person, but looked like a really pretty good football game. Until next week, we'll be right back here on the 5-Star Prep Friday Night Scoreboard next Friday night at 10 o'clock. And maybe the playoff picture, I think everybody knows where it's at right now. There'll be some clarity next week in 5A in one region, so we'll get to see how that all pans out. We'll talk next week. We'll
have it ready.
We'll be ready to go into playoff football mode around here. So we'll see you next Friday night here on the 5-Star Prep Friday Night Scoreboard. Go Vols.
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the hot water wars. A Rinnai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do.
Feel the comforts of home with natural gas. Natural gas tankless water heaters cost almost 3 times less to operate annually than the electric models. Make the switch today.
Rinnai, hot water for all.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 110,000 participants here in Tennessee who take part in high school sports.
Breaker, breaker, good buddy. We've just rolled in from Georgia with a truckload of throw rugs.
That was back in my truck driving days, many years ago. Rugs are still rolling in from Georgia every month, featuring Oriental and contemporary area rugs, carpet-style throw rugs, and much more. All rugs are sold at the lowest prices possible. Find your rug at Hammer Stores.
I am a Simplicity dealer. This business is my life, my career. If you need a new mower, I'll help you choose the model that will make your property look its very best, and even let you take a test drive. When it does need service, you can rely on my factory service training and genuine parts. Because I don't just sell products, I build relationships. I am a Simplicity dealer.
SL Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
It is 7 o'clock. You know what that means? It means it's time for the pregame for high school football. We've got a good one for you tonight. I'd like to welcome in our sponsor of your OEB Law Game of the Week, OEB Law. It's an East Tennessee law-based firm with a national practice. OEB is led by Timothy G. Elrod, and Elrod is from and still calls Anderson County his home. OEB's practiced in state, federal, and city courts. At OEB, we treat our clients like family and are proud to have earned a reputation as East Tennessee's premier personal injury law office, and that's why they've been voted best of Knoxville for the past 3 years. We are very happy to have OEB on board with us again this year. And I'm very happy to have my color announcer on board with us this year as well. I'm Aaron Harvey, Mr. James Gibson, sitting alongside of me. Hey, listen, man, this is week 10. So it's been an exciting season that we're going to remember for a very long time. And why? Of course, you know why. It's the coronavirus. And on that note, let's go ahead and mention a couple games we won't see because of this COVID-19. And Harriman had to forfeit to Oakdale. That game was supposed to take place tonight. And Oneida canceled its season finale with Coalfield. So we won't see that game next week. So that's pretty unfortunate. It'll be the first time since 1947 that those teams didn't play each other.
Oh, I was definitely looking forward to that matchup. It's truly unfortunate for everyone that this didn't happen, as it would have been a great game.
It would have been, but we will get to see Coalfield play tonight because we are at Rochelle Field. Oliver Springs is in town. And listen, a regular season region championship could be on the line tonight, okay? We're walking into WrestleMania. That belt is right there for somebody to grab and take it, and you love it when that is the case this late in the season.
Oh, yeah, it's a great matchup. You got two teams that love to power football, very physical program. So a lot of similarities here, so we're expecting a good one tonight.
Yeah, we've got some other games of significance around the area as far as playoff berths are concerned and playoff rankings, and we'll get into that when we get back. This is the pregame show on your OEB Law Game of the Week.
OEB Law is excited to be a part of this year's football season. School spirit is at an all-time high. OEB Law is proud to give back and support our community. Come cheer on these great teams with us. And remember, if you've been injured or need legal help, OEB Law will be there for you. So visit wreckintoacheck.com or give us a call, 865-546-1111, and let OEB Law turn your wreck into a check.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
The Harriman Utility Board is committed to providing safe and reliable natural gas service to our customers in Harriman and Roane County through the use of safe operational procedures with trained and knowledgeable personnel. An odorant is added to natural gas and maintained to a certain level so that in the event of a gas leak, it can be easily detected. If you smell or suspect a natural gas leak, please call the Harriman Utility Board at 882-3242. We can be reached 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Here is Helen Hammer. Thank you, Mr. Walker. A lot of years have passed since that TV ad. Hammer stores are still offering up-to-the-minute fashions for men and women, famous label outdoor wear and boots, area rugs, and exciting purchases. All at Hammer's famous low prices. Race on down!
And welcome back to Rochelle Field. This is your OEB Law Game of the Week. I'm Aaron Harvey, joined by James Gibson. Got a great one on tap for you tonight as Oliver Springs is in town to take on the Coalfield Yellow Jackets. You know, we got a couple big games in Region 2 Class 3A tonight. Gatlinburg-Pickman gets the real measuring stick tonight when it plays Alcoa. You know, GP's had a great season so far, and its accomplishments could very well result in a home playoff berth, but man, how big would it be for the Highlanders to compete tonight?
Oh, it'd be huge. And GP has been playing some tough defense, Aaron, only allowing an average of 9 points per game. But with that said, I'll still take Alcoa in a landslide victory.
I think a lot of people will take Alcoa as well. If you see the standings there, 7-1 overall for GP. It's been a great season.
Really, really great season.
Yeah.
That's an understatement.
One they're going to talk about for a while. You know, a little bit further down the list, you see Kingston. They've got Pigeon Forge. So you see them right there in the standings. 3-1 is Kingston in the standings. 2-2 is Pigeon Forge record. You know, everything Brian Pankey's team has accomplished to this point could be for naught if the Yellow Jackets drop a couple eggs late. So a win tonight would guarantee extra games. That game is in Sevier County tonight. What are your thoughts on it?
Listen, Sevier County has been playing some spectacular defense. Haven't had 3 shutouts out of the last 4 games they've played. And Kingston has been putting up some decent points this year with Brian Pankey's offense. So this one will be a battle to the end. Let's keep an eye on the score.
The team in Sevier County. You said Sevier County. You meant Pigeon Forge.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Scott High, they're going to be paying attention to that game tonight because the Highlanders have a bye, and they need Kingston to take care of business to keep playoff chances alive. If that happens, Scott and the Tigers will have matching records with a tiebreaker in Week 11 for the final spot. Gotta love all the possibilities this late in the year.
Oh, yes. There's a lot of excitement this time of year as teams all across the state are trying to figure out if they are in or if they're out, who their matchups will be. So there's no better time of the year for high school football than right now.
Yeah, you look at that. Look at that right there. Alcoa, Gatlinburg, Pittman, they're in. They've got it figured out. But then Kingston, Pigeon Forge, Scott.
They're battling.
For the final 2 spots. And as great of a year as Kingston has had, if they lose their final 2 games, they could be out of the playoffs.
I know it. Hey, it's been a tough season, and Kingston's done really well so far. Look at that region standing, 3-1 for Kingston. So it's going to come down. Let's see. It'll be interesting watching that and see how it falls for Scott.
I agree with that. So we're going to talk about some of the bigger schools and some playoff implications for them in our viewing area when we get back. We are at Coalfield, and you are tuned in to the OEB Law Game of the Week.
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the Hot Water Wars. A Renai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do.
Feel the comforts of home with natural gas. Natural gas tankless water heaters cost almost 3 times less to operate annually than the electric models. Make the switch today.
Renai, hot water for all.
You won this year's chili cook-off. Our girls played in the softball finals last spring. You're not just another policyholder to us. We remember your name. Hi, Cheryl.
He remembered my name.
Because it's your name. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if auto owners make sense for you.
Jeff, Mary, Dan, Sarah.
Planning a funeral can be difficult at best, but it can be a lot easier if you work with people who care. That's Davis Funeral Home in Harriman and Wartburg. Davis Funeral Home gives attention to every detail, ensuring your loved ones will be remembered with honor and integrity. Davis Funeral Home works very hard to give you the most professional service possible. Davis Funeral Homes, Morgan Avenue in Harriman and Old Mill Road in Wartburg. Davis Funeral Homes, people who care.
Hi, I'm Ray Varner, and we've got the vehicles you need to make the most of this season.
Whether you're exploring the great outdoors or cheering on your favorite team, let's take your fall to the next level in this new 2020 Ford F-150, $24,990. New 2020 Ford Explorer XLT, $40,986. New 2020 Ford Fusion, $19,698. At Ray Varner Ford in Clinton, we are Ford Truck Country. Come and see us today. Shop RayVarnerFord.com.
as you saw the graphic on your screen, next week we will have a good one in our final broadcast of the season as Oliver Springs takes on Midway, and that could have some pretty significant playoff implications, and a lot of that will depend on what happens tonight at Rochelle Field, as we are here for the Coalfield-Oliver Springs game. A possible region championship could be determined tonight if Coalfield wins, but if Oliver Springs wins, then they are still in the hunt for that playoff, home playoff game and that region crown. So let's talk about some other games in the region. So in Region 3, Class 5A, we know the 4 teams that are going to make the playoffs. We just don't know the seeds yet, and that's because the 3 of the top 4 teams still have to play. West ran the gauntlet and came out unscathed, so the Rebels will end up with a region championship. Powell, Oak Ridge, and Fulton are all right there in the hunt, vying for that coveted home playoff game, and Oak Ridge is the fulcrum on which this lever rests. The Wildcats have Powell tonight and Fulton next week. All 3 teams have only 1 loss in the region. Coach Gaddis' team has been playing great football as of late, defeating 6A Mount Juliet last week. Big game tonight at Blankenship Field.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's take a look at some averages. Powell is averaging 38 points per game and giving up 22, while Oak Ridge is averaging 29.5 points per game and is only giving up 15 points. So if you go off that, we should have a dang good game tonight in Oak Ridge, but we all know how loaded that Powell roster is. So let's see how Joe Gaddis and his squad respond to the big opportunity ahead of them tonight.
So you see the standings there in front of you as Knox West, Powell, and Oak Ridge. You know, they all did their job. They clinched that playoff berth. So, you know, the scenario for Oak Ridge, if you win tonight, you enjoy the 2 seed in the playoffs. You lose tonight and win next week, you know, take the 3 seed. If you lose both games, take the 4th seed. We'll be keeping an eye on that score tonight for sure. And it says Fulton forfeit of the last 2 games due to COVID-19. That's oh, okay. Well, that changes things.
Wow.
Yeah, that's new information to me. I hadn't heard that yet.
No, me neither.
Wow. Okay.
Good 2020. Things change quick, Aaron.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So let's move on.
Yeah.
A huge game last night in Region 2 5A as Central took down South Doyle 27-19. The Bobcats have a region showdown next week against Gibbs. If they win that one, they're region champs. Lose that one, and South Doyle gets that title.
You know, after that huge loss to Halls, a lot of folks wrote off Central. So what a response from them with a huge win over South Doyle. It just proves that high school football talent in East Tennessee, Knoxville in particular, has really improved over the last 10 years.
Yeah, I agree with that. Switching gears a little bit, Midway, they've had a really spectacular season with Coach Ron Treadway in his 2nd season calling the shots. This Green Wave team has a chance to finish as high as 2nd in the region, but it's not going to be easy as Greenback is making the trip south of the river tonight. The Cherokees have only played 4 football games, okay, and they've lost all of them. But by virtue of COVID forfeits, Greenback's 2-2 in the region. They've not played since September 18th. Whew. Today is, let me look at my watch here. What is today? Today's October 20 something. So, I mean, it's been over a month since Greenback has played a football game. So one would think that they'd be healthy but rusty. And Midway's playing solid football. What do you expect in this one?
Look, 2020 has been hard on us all, but it's been even harder on Greenback High School football. They need a win in a major way tonight, but Midway is playing excellent football right now, so this might get interesting tonight. This is Midway's best chance of breaking an 8-year winning streak for Greenback, so you know Midway is hungry for this one.
All right, so you've heard about that. Before we move any further, we'd like to take a moment to talk about the passing of an important member of our broadcast and our community. On Monday, October 19th, John Harvey passed away. John was always willing to help sponsor anything involving Oliver Springs Bobcats, a man that cared for his community and cared for the people in it. John followed in his father's footsteps as he managed the day-to-day operations of Harvey's Furniture in downtown Oliver Springs. John was a member of the Oliver Springs Police Department and Auxiliary for 41 years, and he was a faithful member of Mount Pisgah Baptist Church. A lifelong resident of Oliver Springs, John was always civic-minded. From Eagle Scout projects to being a member of the Volunteer Fire Department, John was always helping his beloved community. Most of the students from the local school knew Mr. Harvey for his time working security for all the sporting events. In his later years, John was a member of the Roane County 911 E-Board, emergency board, I should say. When his community needed him, he consistently answered the call. BBB TV 12 would like to offer the Harvey family our condolences in the passing of a great man, John Thomas Harvey.
OEB Law is excited to be a part of this year's football season. School spirit is at an all-time high. OEB Law is proud to give back and support our community. Come cheer on these great teams with us. And remember, if you've been injured or need legal help, OEB Law will be there for you. So visit wreckintoacheck.com or give us a call, 865-546-1111, and let OEB Law turn your wreck into a check.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
The Harriman Utility Board is committed to providing safe and reliable natural gas service to our customers in Harriman and Roane County through the use of safe operational procedures with trained and knowledgeable personnel. An odorant is added to natural gas and maintained to a certain level so that in the event of a gas leak, it can be easily detected. If you smell or suspect a natural gas leak, please call the Harriman Utility Board at 882-3242. We can be reached 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Here is Helen Hammond. Thank you, Mr. Walker. A lot of years have passed since that TV ad. Hammer stores are still offering up-to-the-minute fashions for men and women, famous label outdoor wear and boots, area rugs, and exciting purchases. All at Hammer's famous low prices.
Race on down!
And welcome back to your OEB Law Game of the Week. I'm Aaron Harvey, joined by James Gibson. Before we go any further, let's take a look at some of the other games going on in the area tonight. We'll get the rundown. East Hamilton is at Anderson County. That is a 1v2 matchup, so the winner of that game will be the champion of that region, and I think we have a pretty good idea of who's going to win that one. Clinton at Campbell County.
That's an old school rivalry right there.
Yeah, it's got potential to be a pretty good game, too. Palo Oak Ridge, which we talked about, which is huge. Greenback at Midway, we talked about, which is huge. Kingston at Pigeon Forge, which we talked about, which is huge. A lot of really big games.
A lot of big rivalry games right here. Harriman at Oakdale, that's a good one. Wartburg at Sunbride, that's a big rivalry for Morgan County.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen the Harriman-Oakdale game and all, but yeah, Harriman having to forfeit that one, giving Oakdale the win. It's COVID is.
It's a frustrating thing.
It is very frustrating. But I got to say, man, I'm glad to be here. We've made it through 10 weeks, and there's no reason for me to believe that we won't make it to week 11. And I don't want to talk too soon or anything, but I think that we'll be around next week when Oliver Springs takes on Midway, which could be.
I need to find some wood to knock on real quick.
Yeah, I know,
talking,
man.
Let's change the subject here.
We got a great crowd on hand tonight for this one, and we're looking
72 degrees right now. I mean, this is perfect football weather.
Yeah. Very quickly, let's talk about this matchup. There's so much to be said without even talking about what's on the line. There's a stretch of 5 miles separating these two schools. The connections are seemingly endless. Coalfield's winningest coach, the late Gary Chris, is an Oliver Springs alumnus. There's a bridge on Highway 62 named after Aaron Brady Walls, a student who played at both schools who passed away in a tragic accident. It's a game that hasn't been played as often it probably should have. Oliver Springs has been back and forth with student populations, which has passed them back and forth between classifications. And the Bobcats own the overall series 35-18. But Coalfield has been closing the gap. winning 7 straight before last season when the Yellow Jackets were shut out 27-0. This is high school football at its best. And to get us ready for that, let's go ahead and take part in our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
So yeah, it's pretty much official now. We're getting ready to play some football, and you can say that after you hear this national anthem. So yeah, like I said, you don't really have to talk about what this matchup could mean to understand how big of a game that this is. This is high school football at its best, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Who doesn't like hard hits, big run plays, and tough defense? These two teams will come out tonight, and they will want to punish the other team. This game means a lot to these kids, parents, coaches, and the respective communities. So I expect a big one.
I think Coalfield was expected to take a step back this season, but that didn't happen. Coach Henry's team could finish the season undefeated with a win tonight, but will it? Auburn Springs has looked like a team that was going in the wrong direction, starting the season 0-4. Since then, the Bobcats haven't lost, and really, they've made each win look easy. If you would have told me in September that our Week 10 game could possibly be for a region championship, I wouldn't have believed you, but here we are. Coalfield can seal it with a win. Auburn Springs can keep the ball in their court otherwise. The lights are on. Do you think any of these players will be affected by the moment?
Not at all. We're towards the end of the season, so these players are now experienced and shouldn't be affected by the emotions of the game. In big rivalries such as this, you sometimes see emotions running high with some trash talk and some big hits early on, but normally it settles in the second half.
Yeah, you've got the rivalry, so both teams are playing in the rivalry. So you've got that going for you. There's a lot of pride. This is the area. You've got 5 miles separating the schools. There's a lot there, but also the gravity of the game. You've got a possible championship on the line. If Auburn Springs wins, they can still win the championship. If Coalfield wins, they got it. So a lot to be played for tonight. So I got to ask you, what are the keys for both of these teams?
Well, for Auburn Springs, they have got to limit the big plays at Coalfield. I'm expecting Coalfield to try to have several big explosive plays, dumping it off in the flats, doing different things of that nature. So for Coalfield, they have got to control time of possession, really enforce that run game and get downhill. And for Coalfield defensively, they got to stop the run. Auburn Springs is going to come out and pound the football. And win field position for Coalfield, and we're going to have a good game.
We will have a good game indeed. It's going to be exciting. I'd like to, again, remind you, you are tuned in to your OEB Law Game of the Week. OEB's got a terrific team of lawyers, paralegals, legal assistants, and support staff that knows the effect a car wreck or injury can have on a person. Their team works extremely hard to help resolve their claims so they can move forward from a tragic incident and focus on rebuilding and recovering their life with a full and fair compensation, whether it is through a settlement or a lawsuit. Go to wreckintoacheck.com or call 865-546-1111 to see what OEB Law can do for you. We're going to have the coin toss and more coming up when we get back. This is the OEB Law Game of the Week.
Oh, this is...
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the Hot Water Wars. A Renai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do.
Feel the comforts of home with natural gas. Natural gas tankless water heaters cost almost 3 times less to operate annually than the electric models. Make the switch today.
Renai, hot water for all.
You won this year's chili cook-off. Our girls played in the softball finals last spring. You're not just another policyholder to us. We remember your name. Hi, Cheryl.
He remembered my name.
Because it's your name. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if auto owners make sense for you.
Jeff, Mary, Dan, Sarah.
Planning a funeral can be difficult at best, but it can be a lot easier if you work with people who care. That's Davis Funeral Home in Harriman and Wartburg. Davis Funeral Home gives attention to every detail, ensuring your loved ones will be remembered with honor and integrity. Davis Funeral Home works very hard to give you the most professional service possible. Davis Funeral Homes, Morgan Avenue in Harriman and Old Mill Road in Wartburg. Davis Funeral Homes, people who care.
Hi, I'm Ray Varner, and we've got the vehicles you need to make the most of this season.
Whether you're exploring the great outdoors or cheering on your favorite team, let's take your fall to the next level in this new 2020 Ford F-150, $24,990. New 2020 Ford Explorer XLT, $40,986. New 2020 Ford Fusion, $19,698. At Ray Varner Ford in Clinton, we are Ford Truck Country. Come and see us today. Shop RayVarnerFord.com.
We are officially under 2 minutes away from kickoff here at Rochelle Field. It's Coalfield, it's Oliver Springs, hardware possibly on the line tonight. Can't stress the importance of this matchup enough. Coalfield wins the toss. They decide to receive.
Kicking off for the Bobcats, number 35.
What do you think the mindset was between receiving that kickoff?
Want to be aggressive on offense, and Coalfield likes some of their mismatches offensively with Oliver Springs defense. So let's see if they try to exploit that early.
As we get set for our Davis Funeral Home kickoff, for Oliver Springs, it's Ty Lamance. Davis Funeral Home with 2 locations in Wartburg and Harriman. And the ball has fallen off the tee. No, he's not going to use the tee. And that is picked up at the 40 and carried a couple of yards. And so Coalfield starts this thing off with really good field position. It's A.J. Henry with the short return.
Interesting choice by the Oliver Springs coaching staff to do a little short kick on the opening kickoff. Pretty good field position for Coalfield.
Yeah, so Coalfield has the Hammers 1st and 10 at the Yellow Jacket 44-yard line.
And look, it's their favorite formation there.
There you go. Cole Hines at under center, hands off to his tailback, and moving forward for about 3 yards is Seth Lau. And actually, that's not Seth Lau, surprisingly. That looks like Isaac McKinney.
McKinney, the ball carrier.
So this is a T formation.
2nd and 7, Yellow Jackets, ball number 47.
It's not a wing T, it's a T formation. And here is, with his first carry of the game, Landon Lau.
And that play there emphasizes exactly what the T formation really is. It is a pound the football type of offense. I believe was first ran in 1940, I believe we ran.
Yeah,
by the Washington Redskins. I believe they, in the Super Bowl came out, started running this, and scored like 70-something points.
Yeah, in a shutout.
So it's an old school offense, but man, it's deadly.
So 3rd and inches, and Hines is going to keep it on a quarterback sneak, and he'll have enough for the first down. And Coalfield keeps the sticks, or gets the sticks moving early in this game.
Coalfield got the first down, but I liked what I saw at Oliver Springs. They made them work for that first down, as you see on the replay here. Look at the big defensive line, really holding in tight, drive the Coalfield offensive lineman backwards.
Quarterback for the Yellow Jackets, number 3, Cole Hines.
He found a good hole.
Yeah. All right, Hammers 1st and 10. At the Oliver Springs 45-yard line. Hines under center again, handoff. This is Lau's first carry of the game, going over the left side. He's tackled from behind. Coming from that defensive end position, the leading tackler on this Oliver Springs team, Brandon Nation.
Yeah, he really comes off the edge fast. He's got a special twitch to him. You see him there, he sees the O open up and he takes off. And normally you ain't going to see a linebacker run down a running back like that from that type of situation there. So that just kind of tells you the type of play you're dealing with there, number 8 for Oliver Springs.
Yeah, a loss of 1 brings up 2nd and 11.
You see that there, that is a college-type play. You see a high school senior, high school football player making that play, that's something you need to pay attention to.
Again, that T formation. Hines under center, drops back like he's going to pass, and he's sacked. Getting in the backfield was Jacob Heilman, the 2nd leading tackler on this team.
They're eating it up right now. That was a broke play. He dropped back for a pass. Nobody else seemed to know that was a pass. His wide receiver definitely didn't. So Oliver Springs made it pay.
A loss of 7 makes it 3rd and 18. Ball spotted back in Yellow Jacket territory at the 47.
3rd and forever. Oliver Springs coming out, 3 wide receivers.
Coalfield. Shotgun formation this time for Hines. 3-step drop. Gets it out to his running back, Lau. Lau crosses midfield, but not much more there.
What a great job by the Oliver Springs defenders, really rallying to the football there and containing Lau. That's a really good job by the defense.
Pickup of 5 will bring up 4th and 13, and Coalfield will send its punting unit into the game. Now, Coalfield's punter is Landon Lau, who is also one of the ball carriers normally for the Coalfield offense. So you want to keep an eye on that. And this is an interesting punt formation.
It is peculiar.
And Lau will do a rugby-style left-footed kick. It's end over end, lands at the 22-yard line, takes an Oliver Springs bounce before it's down at the 20 by Levi Mullins, and that's where Oliver Springs will take over for its first possession of this football game with a Hammers 1st and 10.
I'm excited to see what this Oliver Springs offensive philosophy is going to be this week. Are they going to deviate a little bit, or are they just going to smash mouth football, what they know works?
We know they are riding on their sophomore quarterback, Zach Elliott. And they'll be handing the ball off a lot to Gavin Hill. And first carry of the game, that goes to Brandon Nation. And Nation is stopped right at the line of scrimmage for no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Brandon Nation, the ball carrier.
A little bit of a late stem by the Coalfield defensive lineman. Looked like it had a potential effect on the offensive line of Oliver Springs.
Yeah, you get a good look at that on our attorney Matt Tuck replay.
Movement like that, late movement with the defensive line, is very frustrating for the offensive lineman.
Elliott has a man in motion, Drops the ball, has to pick it up, run up the middle. Able to get a couple yards, but that's it. It's got to be 3rd and 8. I believe they were intending on running the jet sweep there.
Yeah, and Cofield's come out defensively, and it looks like they're kind of floating with a man press, man coverage. And they're just saying, hey, we dare you throw the football. We're expecting you to come running that football, and we're here to stop it.
So we'll see what Oliver Springs does on this 3rd and long.
Ball on the run, 27.
Interesting. Watch for rollout or crossing routes.
Yeah, 4 bunched up, but actually on a keeper and getting up to the 30 is Kane Googe.
Elliott Keats. Met first by number 1, Landon Lau. Also in on the tackle, number 5, Seth Lau.
And he's going to be 5 yards short of the first down. And I have to apologize. That's actually Zach Elliott.
4th down.
Now let's see what type of field position Cofield can get here.
High snap. It is controlled. That punt is away. Decent punt. Good hang time. Takes a great bounce.
Good.
And downed at the 30-yard line. And
that's going to be a learning experience for that young football player in film session. He touched the ball a little too early. Let it roll. Let it roll.
Yeah, there wasn't a Cofield player near it. Look at this Matt Tuck replay.
Good punt.
And you'll see what my guy James Gibson is talking about. Get it right there. Nobody near it. You pick it up.
Yeah.
Why pick it up? That ball could have gone another 5 or 10 yards.
I guarantee you Coach Green is going to have a good teaching experience on film study with him.
So it's Hammers 1st and 10, ball spotted right across the 30-yard line for Cofield, and they've come out of that T formation. Instead, they've got 2 wideouts either side. Seth Lau in the backfield for Hines. Hines on a quarterback keeper. He's got Lau as a lead blocker, picks up to the 40-yard line. A good pickup of 9 yards will bring up 2nd and short. Design quarterback draw.
Yep. Oliver Springs coming with a 3-man front. Don't look like they sent any pressure. Quarterback stepped up in the pocket, seen a big hole. Picked up a big gain. You see here running right behind the fullback and the right guard. Good move.
And it looked like Lau missed a block there. Could have sprung Elliott a little bit further. So it's 2nd and less than a yard for Cofield. 2 wideouts either side again, the same formation. And Hines is going to hand off on a counter to Lau. Lau trying to find some running room. Gets up to about the 43 before he's stopped. But it will be enough for Hammers 1st and 10.
Tackle by Brandon Nation.
Cofield's offensive line does a really nice job of pulling and getting upfield. As you see the right tackle there, big number 55 for Cofield, Braden Burgess, does a really good job of getting upfield and getting his hands on some hats.
So Cofield, about where they started their last drive with a 1st and 10. Same formation, shotgun for Hines.
Cover 3 for Oliver Springs.
Hines fakes the handoff to Lau. He's going to keep it, and he's brought down in the backfield.
And who else?
Hines keeps. Stopped by Nation.
Nation.
Again.
Brandon Nation.
He has really good instincts at the linebacker position. He sees, he does a really good job reading the guards, through the guards to the running back, and he really has a quick niche from the linebacker position, as you see here.
Yeah, he's coming from that middle linebacker
He closes so fast.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt Tuck, attorney, for providing that replay. Hines again, 2nd and 11. Draws back to pass. He's going to let it go wide, and that pass falls incomplete. Trying to hit Lau. Landon Lau, that is. Will bring up 3rd and 11.
No harm, no foul there if you're Cofield. He was covered. Quarterback kind of noticed it, threw it a little high to where only his wide receiver could have a play on the ball.
Yeah, that's